Chapter 7, Those Left Behind. Let's get right into it with our official rankings right off the bat. Let's hope this transition works. There it is, it worked! Heavy for a second. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just list this off pretty quickly this time around. This is going from rank number 7 up to number 1. I think that's the best way to do it. We'll go from the bottom, and then we'll get to the top. All right, so at number 7, it goes 3, 5, 7 at number 5. That's this chapter here, Those Left Behind, at number 5. Then it goes 1, 6, 2, and 4 is our best chapter so far. This is how it all shakes out. So let's find out how we got there. And of course, as always, we start with the Dragoon King, who has this one at number 6, just one above Deeper into Darkness. What's up, Dragoon King?
What's up? Listen, I said this in the conversation with the three of us, but I'm gonna tell the audience, I don't think there's a bad chapter in this game. I am replaying it, so that's up for change later, perhaps. But as it stands, I currently believe that there's not really a bad chapter in this game. I think that there's just some that I don't revisit and I don't play off as often. This definitely is one of them. It's got good moments, but to me, it's just not one that has always been one that I go back to frequently or find as enjoyable to return to. But I did have fun on this playthrough, so I am excited to talk about it and figure out where you guys ranked it.
Absolutely. Well, then we're going to take it on over to Excalibro, who ranks this one at number 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this is probably going to be controversial, but allow me to bring you into Wily World for a minute. So
I love that Wily World.
We have open world exploration, Costa Del Sol. We have a beautiful coastline. We have the return of Jules. We have the Turks. We have a Yuffie flashback, a beautiful reactor shot, weapons setup, a Rufus meeting. We see Reeve. Cloud almost jumps off a bridge. Minecart shenanigans. Cloud Jr., Barrett's reception and Corell, character building between Barrett and Yuffie, Doc Sharon for Traces of Two Past, a Sephiroth appearance. This chapter might have more character appearances than any other chapter so far. And so in my most recent playthrough of the OG, Barrett and Tifa were my go-to, and they both get a lot of narrative love in this chapter. So this chapter brings a lot for me personally.
Wow.
That's why it's 3.
Dude, you got me thinking like, oh, I don't know what, when I scroll to the left, I don't know what my rankings are, but man, I might want to change it.
Too late. It's locked in.
I think I did what I wanted to do because I was debating between 2, so let's see what happens. All right. I have it ranked at number 5. This is just below Fool's Paradise and above Deeper into Darkness, Chapter 3. Man, you almost have me convinced that I wish I would have put this above Fool's Paradise, but I'll tell you why. I think I'm going to stick with where it's at. I do like Fool's Paradise for the fun that is had there. I love the upbeat, energy. We talked all about that last week. So when it comes to this chapter, there are some criticisms I have that kind of brings it down just a step below that chapter 6. Now, I love right off the bat we have Yuffie bonding with the party, and for better or for worse, this chapter does have a dungeon that requires some thought. I do like that the it's not just a linear, hey, you know exactly where to go. Boss battles don't really do anything special for me in this one. The side quests aren't really the best, but they do provide some humor and some essential world building, or character building at least. The minecart minigame is where I would say that it could have been so much cooler. There's potential there that I wish they would have taken advantage of. The Zack interlude for the first time since the very beginning of this game. It's been 7 chapters and we're just now going like, oh, hey, remember that we introduced at the start of the game? Well, let's talk about that now.
I'm going to add that back to my list too.
Yeah, right, put there. Zack in your little, your compilation of character appearances, yeah. And then it also had some great moments like Cloud in a trance, almost walking off the ledge. That was we're going to talk about that. The weapon at the reactor. And I really, 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 really love everything about Barrett's bitter homecoming at Corell. Some excellent, top-notch performances from John Bentley and Susie Young in this one. That's the voice of Yuffie and Barrett. So, yeah, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about it. We'll start from the very beginning. Let's go to this one here. And as you can see, this gameplay footage is taken from Source Spy 91 on YouTube. Nice little 100% playthrough here. So let's let that play. But it doesn't start at the very start of this chapter, actually, because there's a very funny moment when this one starts. It's when Barrett says that if Yuffie tries anything funny, he'll shove her into the sister ray and blast her back to Wutai. That was great, man. Then Yuffie also peeps the materia equipped to everybody. And she kind of chuckles to herself. And then she takes her spot behind Cloud as she joins the party. So that is the true beginning of this chapter. Do you guys have any thoughts on that one before we move on? That little segment there?
No, I mean, the only thing I will say is that her keeping an eye on materia definitely carries all the way through this. Like, it's a constant motivator for her, so that'll come back up again.
Yeah, and I also have something to add on to that I thought was very interesting as we continue on to through this chapter. That it's not all about the materia. That I'm kind of surprised to see some more, a little bit more with Yuffie. So we'll go ahead and get to Mount Corell. When we arrive at Mount Corell, right there, let me skip to that. Okay, the party approaches Mount Corell, the hiking trail up the mountain, since the lift is out of order, and Barrett comments that the view isn't all that, unless they enjoy ruined reactors. Barrett is clearly feeling some reservations right now about this trip. But hey, that music though, you know. That music though, man, we getting it. That let's go Mount Corell.
Part comes great. This chapter has great music. I will say this was one of the harder ones for me to pick best music from. And there was some cool. I mean, I know that we didn't talk about side quests yet, but between music they brought back from Remake, specifically the music during the Aerith and Cloud quest, is a lot of callback tracks. Collapsed Expressway and High Five, they return from that, so I was like, oh cool, I love when they bring back old tracks. And then on top of that, just the battle theme for Mount Corell, everything about like the music in this chapter, I gotta say, is a really big strong point for me personally. So when you say that music, gotta agree.
Yeah, man, because I'm still undecided on what my award for best music is going to go to, but I love this banter back and forth between Yuffie and the party. Now, I guess I'll go ahead and say it right here. So something that we can keep an eye on as we go, and as Excalibro brought up, that the materia is a big focal point for Yuffie. I also found it very interesting that she's also bonding really well with the party. So she doesn't seem like she's in there only for the materia. So I thought that was actually quite interesting, because it's kind of like, you know, it makes it going to be more complicated. If future memories serve me correct, I guess this is a future past memory of OG, where she's going to steal the party's materia, right? It adds this inner conflict now that she's really becoming like tight with these with the party. I love the little comment she makes about Barrett being like super strict and like, do I have to ask you for permission every time, sir? You know, do I have to ask you to sneeze, sir, or something like that? Which it was really funny.
She's doing what I do to you. When every time I'm like, Dan,
you
need me to do this? Dan, you need me to do that? Dan. Yeah, she's doing that, but to Barrett.
I literally thought of you guys when she was saying that. So I really enjoy that banter. And she is such a child, which is cool to have. Funny. It's
really good to have.
Just capturing that personality really well. And then. This is the sort of stuff that I would love to see more of in part 3, right? When you're kind of roaming the world or going up a cliff or just traveling the world. Like, it doesn't have to be a scripted event, in the sense of like, hey, this is your beginning of the chapter type thing. But like, I'd love it if you're just roaming the world, Mimir style, God of War, whatever. Like, just start talking. start having some banter, like some pre-baked banter that will just play at any time, any random time that you're exploring the world. That would be awesome. And that's kind of what it made me feel with this when Yuffie's they're just joking. Like, it's just kind of having like this cool, fun back and forth. And she asked Tifa, like, how do you put up with this jerk face? You know, like, it's just funny.
And they're mathematically breaking down just how much of a jerk he is.
Right.
He's
like that. Tifa gets in on it.
Jerk or something. I think that's what they ran it out at. So
yeah,
I love all the any Yuffie banter has always been well. I'll say this. Sometimes I wonder. I'll admit. I wonder if she talks too much at times, because I feel like since joining, it almost becomes the Yuffie show when there's a lot of side character dialogue. But at the same time, she's hysterical. So yeah. I'm kind of at a crossroad where it's like, man, you're really annoying, but like awesome annoying. So I enjoy it.
That's what I love about this chapter, and like Susie Young's performance as Yuffie, because she's a childlike. She's got this childlike banter, this complaining stuff going on, but then there's going to be these really heartfelt moments coming up.
Oh, of course.
I do want to shout out Deshelle in chat. Says, hello guys, I will not be able to tune in, so I'll watch later, but I want to let you guys know how much I appreciate and love you for what you're doing in these videos and for Final Fantasy VII in general. Thank you. Yo, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much for dropping that in the chat.
We appreciate you, man.
Really do. So yeah, she's also gonna have this range going on here. So we are going to see that Yuffie at some point during this. I'm just letting that roll, letting Source Spy 91 gameplay roll. But Yuffie lets it slip a little bit that she's a little more interested in the materia, not the mystery men. She wants to go ahead, so Barrett wants to go keep an eye on her, and Tifa wants to go keep an eye on Barrett, because he's not himself right now. So they go on ahead. Now, this is Dragoon King's favorite aspect of the level. She leaves yellow paint behind for you guys to let you know where to go, man. Yellow paint.
From Jackie's journal. Yellow paint!
Yellow paint!
I don't know why that didn't connect in my brain, but now that you're bringing that's hilarious, man.
The moment I saw it, I yelled it. That's not just a podcast thing. I do that every time I see it in the playthrough. Just gotta yell out to the heavens that I found yellow paint in the wild.
Remind me to bring up that image that I took, because I took a screenshot because I'm playing over on the PC, and I have that mod that removes it, and I took a screenshot of it just to be like, yo, no yellow paint for me, and I know where I'm going. I'm not lost. And then also, even the elevator shafts don't have the yellow, bright yellow. It just looks like a not the big bright yellow stuff. So I was like, all right, this is cool. This works for me.
Dude, I'm glad that you pointed out she's the one painting, because that makes retroactively that makes a lot more sense with one of the gripes I had with her, and it's that for a materia hunter, she leaves a lot of materia on this damn mountain. You climb up this mountain, and there's just actually, right when she splits off, I'm pretty sure if you walk up that path and bang an immediate left, it's just obviously right there.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, aren't you obsessed with this stuff? Aren't you supposed to be good at finding this stuff?
That would have been funny though. Like,
sense.
yeah, that would have been a fun little like addition if they had like open chests. Like, yeah.
Oh, just like just rummage material. No, but I just thought it was, now that you've made it make sense to me. She's not hunting material. She's painting the rock so you know where to go. And thank you, Yuffie. You're pulling your weight.
Even the yellow paint is like telling a story, and like a fun little banter that you're not even, it's off screen, but you can read it through the yellow paint. Like one of them is like Yuffie holding a tissue for a crybaby Barrett.
Yeah, and actually, I think that's the one. I have a friend who can read and speak Japanese a bit, and I tried to see if he could translate the rocks. One of them was too blurry for him, and now he's not like fluent. He's learned over the years on his own, but I don't know if I should have sent this to you, but this one in particular, I know it's kind of a.
Is that written in Japanese?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I asked him, I was like, "What does this one mean?" And he says, "Cute, even if I cry." is the translation he got out of that. So, Chad, if anybody here can correct him, I'm not taking what he says as 100% true.
That's funny.
But if cute, even if I cry, and it is a doodle of her crying. So I thought that was funny.
That is.
Yeah, now I want to go back. I wish I had more time this week to do it. I want to know what all the rocks say.
I always thought that it was like its own. Sometimes Final Fantasy VII will use its own writing, like it's gibberish that doesn't really mean anything. But that definitely looked like Japanese to me. So.
And the one with the 3 of them together. Again, I wish I sent this to you, but we'll do it this way for now.
Okay.
If he translated that correctly, it's cute and kind. And that's the first time you see Tifa in the doodle. So I wonder if that's about her.
Oh, yeah. Because they were getting along. They were getting along.
Yeah, I don't know if cute is about... I think cute is her... Yuffie referring to herself as cute. But kind might be about Tifa.
We're cute and kind. And
cute and kind.
And then Crybaby.
Crybaby
Barrett. Yeah, Crybaby Barrett. Oh, that's awesome.
If anybody in chat could correct that, of course, I'm down to scrutinize my friend. I don't know if he's 100% accurate on that, but I like to believe he was correct. So
Block Sheep brings up an interesting point. Says Yuffie definitely reminds Barrett of Marlene. I felt like Barrett Yuffie relationship is one of a father and a teen daughter type thing. Maybe. I think yeah, and like Barrett's got
I get that vibe too.
That fatherly instinct.
I get that vibe too. Personally, I know some people. I think somebody before actually said like brother sister, and I could see that too. But I definitely see more of a parent and a child kind of dynamic between the two.
Yeah,
and what we know about Yuffie from the original game, because we haven't seen it yet in this story, but with her dad, she probably even if she doesn't realize it, I think she might be looking into Barrett as a father figure in some ways, or at least kind of, developing that relationship, even if she doesn't know it quite yet. So I'm hoping that they explore that in part 3, because I feel like they're laying great groundwork for them to explore that relationship, and maybe that'll help her mend things with her own actual father. So who knows? So that'd be cool.
That's an interesting thought there. And then I skipped out on saying that Aerith was tired, because that was a cute little moment there, like Aerith is like, my legs are killing me, and then she's like and then that's when they decided to go ahead and they were going to let Aerith rest for literally like maybe not even a second, because you don't have to sit on the bench. You could just take off running again. It's like, my son was out there and he was like, I thought Aerith was tired. Are you gonna like let her rest? And I'm like, I don't think I have to. I'm just gonna let her run.
I just want to point out that Red's a G. Like, during that scene when everybody else is like walking all together and she's behind, if you pay attention and look behind you and you see her slowly walking, Red's keeping the pace right next to her. He's always got her back.
They're close, man. Like, they're close. We saw that in the last chapter too. Yeah.
I love this relationship and how they keep building on it, because it's not really a relationship I feel like we hear anything about in the original story, like at all. I mean, they have some connections. We know that what like Hojo's intention with them was, but besides that, I can't think of any narrative connection between the two.
I mean, they're both kind of
strong,
kind of tapped in with the planet,
right?
Yeah, they're kind of like
directly with one another. I feel like there's not much that they overlap on. So to explore two characters with great similarities and put them together and flesh them both out, we're seeing a kinder side of Red as the chapters are going on. He's definitely dropping that barrier more and more, and he's becoming more integral to the group. He's grown fonder of them and tighter with them.
Oh yeah,
so
and he's
really
even
cool to see.
Even to the point he's making jokes. But like again, this is with Aerith and Red. But even with kind of Cloud as well. As they're climbing. One of my favorite parts of of this chapter, man. I remember playing it. And by the way, I kind of want to throw this out there too. The first time I played this chapter, when it first came out, the game like had just come out. I had COVID and I was extremely, extremely sick, and I had I was miserable, man. So Let's Go Mount Corell, that song, not a great song for me because I love the song, but it makes me think of it, and it makes, you ever have that like when you're really sick and then you think
PTSD with that song.
Yeah, and then you're just like, oh, it makes my stomach turn a little bit, and you're like, oh man, but I love the song. That was my experience with this chapter the first time around, so I was like, oh man, I was just pushing myself through it back then, so I wonder how I was going to feel on the second playthrough of this one. And so that was just one thing to kind of set things up. But I remember even when I was sick, it made me smile. It made me laugh, man. I love when Aerith was complaining about being tired, and then she starts getting the climber's high of like,
yes.
Yeah, dude, it was.
Yeah, bro.
And then Red 13 kind of egging that on, like, yeah, yeah. He's like, Cloud says, "What the hell are you doing, Red?"
What the hell are you doing, Red?
He said, "I'll carry her. I'll carry her if she drops. Let her go."
Yeah.
And then Aerith with the "Let's go."
It's like even in that moment, Red is protective of her. Like he's keeping an eye on her. He's encouraging her, right? Like it's a good moment.
Well, I like that you say encourage because it's equal parts taking care of her if she needs it, but also allowing
still
her
kind of joking, like they're best friends, like they're friends.
Yeah. Like he's allowing her to just explore and enjoy it, but also I think in a weird way he's enjoying it because she's all loopy.
Yeah, like, and it's very much like a teenager would do. Like Red is really not that gruff exterior that he puts out. He's having fun. He's having fun with this, like a group of teenage friends would do. So that's cool. A Shinra helicopter flies over. And then also we run into this hikers really complaining about people not stopping and saying hi. We're the manners at
Wasn't
these
that
days.
guy in the OG?
Yes.
Wasn't he in the OG?
I'm
just chilling.
I feel like I'm pretty positive this dude was in the OG. Yeah. So they kind of like brought him back for this one.
And that's the best rebirth.
And that's the best rebirth. This hiker.
Random hiker.
You know what's funny is I actually thought about that, but I'm like, there's
too much. There's too much.
Great moments,
dude, I would have respected that so hard. Like if you just made it that guy on the mountain.
The guy on the mountain, best rebirth.
Oh,
Centurion says, when this game first came out, I ordered pizza and played until 4 a.m. The Midgard special.
Yeah, I didn't order pizza, but I think I played 17 hours straight the day it came out.
Yeah.
I was toast when I was done with that first session.
When I had COVID, but honestly, in a weird kind of way, it was oddly a blessing because then I had no work because I couldn't go to work. I got to sit and I had to quarantine myself by myself, and I'm just sitting here playing Rebirth. Every now and then I'd have to run to the bathroom, but that's okay.
Sorry, babe, I'm miserable in here.
Oh, this really sucks, man. So I just played it so much, man. I don't even know how many hours straight, but just so much with in between being sick. But
I also have I'm not going to get into it yet when we talk about side quests later, but I also have a traumatic experience with this chapter.
Oh yeah! Oh no!
We get the side quests.
I said it on Twitter, but I'll say it here. The FF7 discourse is about to come to a boiling point. If you know what I'm saying.
I was about to make that same joke.
Can't wait to get there and how. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
He said, "You don't want to fire him up. You don't want to fire him up yet. Let's go." That was fun. A Shinra helicopter flies over. The Turks land the helicopter as Elena pushes out some robes. Let's see if I can fast forward to that to make that make sense. Right there.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Hey, A Day to Remember new album came out. It's great. It's the single on that. I wish we were sponsored, but we're not. So the Turks land the helicopter. Elena pushes out some robes, and I like how Cloud pulls Aerith behind him. Protecting. He's still that bodyguard, my man. He's still the bodyguard.
My man.
He's protecting Aerith. Like, see right there. Apparently, the Turks are not here to pick a fight with them, so kind of honoring that whatever what Rufus was talking about and sung. They're not there for them. Now Elena says that And then 1 minute, she says that, and then the next, she's
Right. Tell us what happens next, Dan.
That's a neat little trick.
Yeah, she's just gonna send a freaking giant robot to fight us. But she does say something interesting as she says, let's see, she says 1 minute they were fine, the robes were fine, and the next, and then she doesn't finish her sentence. So I'm wondering if all the robes started to go crazy on the Shinra 8 when Genova was emerging, right? When was manifesting, and they were all going, reunion, time has come. I wonder, and this kind of goes back to that hive mind. I believe it was New Shinra that called it out, referring to the Star Trek reference about there being like a hive mind. I wonder if those group of robes started doing that. If all of them in the entire world just started doing reunion, like start going crazy.
I'm curious about that too, because I figured that most of the robes from the Shinra 8 were either accounted for or perished, right? So the ones that they picked up here just didn't seem like because not for nothing, right after we get dropped off at Costa del Sol, there are some robes on the dock there. So the Turks didn't pick them up I wouldn't imagine they picked them up from the dock. These guys came from somewhere else. So I was curious about what triggered all the robes to go off around this time, because she says, they started acting unruly, and this lines up around the time we left Junon. So maybe you're right in that the ones on the ship getting, Genovid, or whatever you want to call it, maybe that had an effect on some other ones, or is there something greater here going on? Because I was trying to piece this together too, and I couldn't think for the life of me if there was something besides what we saw. I don't know, Wiley, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I know Dan just talked about it maybe being the ship ones, but I wanted to ask you guys the same question.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the best possibility is the emergence of Genova. Right, I can't think of anything else that makes sense. Like it's gonna kind of cause them to fire back up,
Yeah,
any sort of activity where Sephiroth could, be stirring the real Sephiroth of the Northern Crater. I think is going to be a good excuse to get some wacky behavior out of these guys.
I was gonna say, but that's crazy. Then if ones that could be totally elsewhere in the world, like that's implying that like the ones on Shinra 8 that were getting directly messed with. Could affect ones across the world, assuming these aren't ones from Shinra 8. So that's a really interesting thought. And I'm curious if, Well,
we know there's some kind of... We know there's some kind of
hive connection to a degree.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say they're all sort of entangled, somehow, because they all, without instruction, are going to the same place, have the same call, they're saying the same thing. So they're sort of one mind. So, makes sense that would be the disturbance.
True.
So now we get the custom Valkyrie boss battle here. Now I know Lee put this as your best battle, right?
I did.
That's correct. Yeah.
It was fun.
Bro, just the fact that the Valkyrie tries to get you with that thing right there on screen, that's why it's not my best battle. I'm like, get that out of the face.
Honestly, okay, I'll be honest. Both boss battles I enjoyed for different reasons. They're not like, get the hell out of here. I think this one has a real
full mast on that one too. Like he's just straight up
full mast,
bro.
I think this boss battle has a real world reason for me enjoying it slightly more, in that I saw they played this song live at the Rebirth Orchestra. So hearing it again in game for the first time. It's a great track. Don't get me wrong. I was actually surprised that of all boss themes that they could have pulled from, they pulled this one. Which is a cool fight, but it's not really one of the most... I don't want to say it's not memorable, but compared to some of the other boss fights in this game, this is not one that I think of often. So the fact that the piece of music that from this fight was... it's a very impressive score, and it's very inspiring, but, high... I'm trying to think of good words.
It's got like this, like, almost heroic... Like
that's a good way to put it.
And you're just like, it's got the the heroic stuff going on. I'm like, I'm just fighting this gigantic Valkyrie, like it's like, I guess I feel really good about it though. Thank you.
That's kind of a good way to put it. It's like, man, they cooked so hard on a boss battle that sure, it was good, but it was like midnight snack good. Like, you didn't need to make it a full course meal.
It's like that meme where it's like, hey, I just need a theme for a custom Valkyrie. Got you, man. And like the piano's on fire. Like,
dude, yeah. Like I said, I mean, this is one of those ones that you could have made like a good piece of music, because most of the music in Rebirth is phenomenal.
There it is.
But they really cooked on this song for a boss fight that really. I mean, I'm glad it's there. Just I don't know why it was this one.
Yeah,
they used it on this one. But hey, man,
I get that sentiment.
Yeah,
like it's cool. It's a great song. It's always kind of funny when I almost forgot about it being connected to this fight, even though it's the namesake of the song. You know, it's the rope.
Custom
But when I was watching, when I watched it at the orchestra, they're showing the boss fight on screen. I'm like, oh yeah,
oh yeah. But I will say, it does provide. I think I'm gonna throw a nominee out. I don't know if I'm gonna go with it right away. I don't know if I'm gonna say like I'm not fully committed to this. But I'm going to throw it as a nominee, and maybe I'll decide at the end of this. But this could be the warrior of hype, get hype moment right here as this final thing. Freaking red. And then check this out.
I wondered, when I played this, I was
dude,
like,
right there.
Here comes this part.
Yeah.
Come on, man. My man had the explosion behind him. He does the
Yeah.
I was like, that might be the warrior of hype, get hype moment right there. I was very, very excited about that when it first happened. I don't care how sick I was. I was like, yeah, man. No, okay, so very interesting. This is an interesting moment right here. So, as I said, I love the ending of this battle. Yeah. I mean, it's intriguing. We don't have to talk about it.
I mean, the game gives you the option to skip it, just not.
Yeah,
in New Game Plus, that is.
Yeah, you could just skip this. No.
I remember to turn it back on.
This is interesting.
I almost did that.
Oh, the going without the interludes, right?
Yeah, I almost forgot to turn it back on, and because when I replay, I don't do them.
I'm talking about this.
Oh,
The shot of Aerith. I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't know why I'm caressing the top of this. Like, I don't know why.
I know why you are.
I don't know why I'm doing that. No, I'm talking about
That's
this.
The Dan thingy.
That's the
Dan thingy.
Very different from the Wily thingy.
So this scene right here, this shot, the way the camera is taking Aerith looking up at the sky is a very interesting thing that we need to think about here. We have questions from the survey that we're going to bring in, but this is right before the interlude where we're going to go see Zack. So I think maybe we talk about it afterwards, but just remember the shot. Okay. Let's see. Yeah.
That's a good call. I know where you're going with this.
Oh God, I used talk to text to like take my notes. It says Eric says. I don't know who Eric is. Aerith says, guess the Turks are back on duty. But we get this foreshadowing again for part 3 when Cloud says, I wish they would all go on vacation. It's like, dude, we get it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the foreshadowing again from chapter 3. You know,
we get it. We're all pre-ordering. We're
going to the Turks are going to be in Wutai. I get it, man. I get it.
We get it.
He's, I wish they'd all go on vacation, and I love how Aerith looks like, for real. Like, that's good. I like the line delivery. I like the line delivery on that one. So what happens at the end of this? The cutscene is extremely interesting as Aerith looks up at the sky, very reminiscent of some future memories I have of her looking up at the sky, and a far more intriguing theory juice later. So let's talk about this next scene. Let's go. We'll come back into that later. Rufus.
You like the theory juice.
There's a lot of theory juice there. When I wrote theory juice, I was like, yeah, I'm keeping it. Rufus is here talking about the Magnus materia. There's a little change up. It's not called the huge materia this time around. It's called the Magnus materia. Of course, this was mentioned, I believe, in Remake or even Intermission. Not sure which one it was, but we've known about Magnus for a while, I think. He says, as you know, energy spikes were surging from Mako reactors around the world. When did these energy spikes occur was the question I pitched to you guys in Discord, and I think we kind of settled on, like, yeah, I think this might have been at the end of Remake when the boundaries of fate were breached. Now, I pitched this question to chat right now. Chat, was this specified when the Mako spikes, like the energy spikes, happened? And, like, was it specified the moment that it happened, or is this the first time we're hearing about it? I didn't have enough time to kind of go back and try to find it, but my theory at the moment is that it happens at the end of Remake, because I feel like this is the moment the planet realizes it's in the most danger. So that's when it's going to form the new weapons. And I believe, my theory is that these are brand new weapons. These are not the weapons from the OG. I think these are brand new weapons created for a sole purpose. Whether that's to protect the sacred timeline or to protect something. The White Whispers seem to be guarding it. So there's something about these weapons that were created for specifically a purpose that just happened in this remake project, not the original game. That's my thought. That's my thought there.
I like that, man. That's a good theory. There's a lot that you could do with that too. And while you're talking about it, it occurs to me that at the end of Remake, the Whispers form the Whisper weapon right there in response to the threat. So it would make sense if that's that moment, right?
The Whisper Harbinger. You're thinking that is definitely a weapon.
It's a weapon class.
Yeah, it's got to be a sort of weapon
entity.
Yeah. That's true, and that's how massive these weapons are. So this one, I think the weapons, I'm hoping at least, and even though this one is gigantic, I'm still hoping that the weapons that we get in Part 3 are even bigger. I'm hoping that they're even more massive.
Oh man.
Yeah,
we could do a 5-hour podcast just on that.
Oh yeah, that is a topic I can't wait to talk about. Excuse me. So yes, Centurion. I'm gonna bring in a question from Centurion. Yuffie mentions that there's a huge materia on the weapon. Do you think Part 3 will take a different approach on how you obtain the huge materia? Rather than going to various locations, they're now associated with defeating each of these weapons that are carrying a huge materia.
Yo, what a thought.
That's a good thought. Yeah.
What a thought. I want to, so this plays into it. It doesn't necessarily answer that question, but something I wanted to bring up is that Scarlet in this conversation mentions that they're on the brink of creating one of these materia themselves, right?
Yeah.
So
as seen in intermission.
She's talking, and so in intermission, the materia she's working on is red. Knights of the Round, perhaps?
Oh my god.
Right? Like she's working on a red Magnus materia, bro. Like if that's what she's talking about, then there's some
That's interesting.
Some juicy stuff that could be coming down the lane, bro.
That's a crazy change.
Yeah, it's a kind of that would be a crazy change. Yeah. That is
just a thought.
But I'm also thinking about it. I mean, it's not fun. I'm also thinking about like Bahamut Zero. I'm thinking about because one of these huge materials gets taken up into the rocket, and that's Bahamut Zero, and you have, so that's a very interesting thing. Knights of the Round. I'm really hoping that there's something like
I hope there's a huge ass almost like
Gilgamesh style.
I would that would be great for Part 3 if they redid
I think that is
Gilgamesh quest line.
You're assembling the Knights of the Round?
Yeah, like that'd be cool.
How sick would that be?
That is actually a really good idea. I like that. And I'm hoping that
all the material in a circle and it becomes one large Knights of the Round material.
And that's how you do it. Don't put any navigation marks. You have to find that on your own. That's what I want. Knights of the Round needs to be really difficult to find, and when you do, so yeah, that's.
I'm here for it.
I love that. So Centurion, I know we got off the question a little bit. So I do think
just a bit.
I do think, and I honestly was on the same page as you, Centurion, when I saw the these weapons. I'm gonna put them in quotes. I'm gonna be honest with you, all right? I think the Ultimania might have already confirmed it. If you know that in chat, please let me know. Of course, the Ultimania isn't only in Japanese, so you need to be part of an exclusive club, Japanese, to read it. So I don't know whether or not they confirmed it or not, if it was a weapon. But everybody kind of jumps to assumptions here that this is a weapon. And I think the weapons are much bigger than they could possibly even fathom. Like, I think they think these are weapons, but they're not. They could be, as Catherine, I believe, in chat says, that the baby whale could be like baby form. Of a weapon, and then that they'll grow.
I thought I remember reading something like that, like it's sort of the infant stage or something like that, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, like
Chat,
the Ultimania said
speak
something
up
about
if you
that.
know, chat. Yeah, something like that.
So anyways, yeah, like, so they're carrying, they say it's a gigantic materia, so are we assuming that's the Magnus Materias inside of that? Are we assuming that they house a Magnus Materia? Or are we, like, or is that a different materia altogether? Like, is that just something completely different? They're not Magnus Materia.
I mean,
It
based
seems
on
like
the timing,
context,
conversation, and the context, it does seem like that's what they're talking about. However, I would not be surprised to learn it was something totally different.
Right.
So what I would say is, I think it's a safe bet that it probably that it is.
Yeah, because now you gamify it even more for an action RPG like we were getting with Remake. You got to give us a boss fight. As you can see, there's a boss fight in every chapter, and now you give us a new boss fight with these gigantic weapons. Or these, like now we have to defeat one of these every time we want to get a Magnus Materia. I think that makes sense for part 3. So now, they say upon available information that these would appear to be weapons. That's, once again, I wrote that down. Upon available information that they would appear to be weapons is what Rufus says. I already said that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so interesting that Hojo says that they themselves were born of. They're carrying materia that they themselves were born of. So we know that materia is knowledge and memory, and they seem to be protected by the Whispers. So, yep, I already said that. Wonder if they're protecting the sacred timeline and all that other good stuff. Whatever. So Hojo wants to peel one's flashback, see what makes it tick. And Scarlet questions why they even need one when they're on the verge of a breakthrough, creating their own. John brings up the sins. Oh, okay, you know what? This is a good one. It brings up the sins of Rufus's father here, dropping the plate, blowing up reactors. Yeah. And I like what Rufus, like saying, like, he was old and in his dotage became rash. And how come no one on this board tried to stop his father? That was a really cool line. Really cool.
Yeah, I have a note about that too. It's interesting that of everybody there, the only person that did try to stop him was Reeve, but Reeve doesn't speak up. Reeve kind of like cowers in this moment.
But he did it covertly, and I think I don't know if he knows Rufus's whole...
Well, Reeve straight up voices his concern to the president in Remake. He's basically telling him, like, I mean, does he try to? How hard did he try to stop him? I think he tried to make it clear, how much damage was going to be done, and I felt like he was pleading with him.
Well, I guess it begs the question: what would have happened if Kate got to the plate fall before it happened? Like, what was he? No, like, I know it's kind of a joke, but like, the implication I almost get from that is that he did try to talk sense into him. It fell on deaf ears. And then the Kate Sith cameo in Remake is kind of one of those things that I almost roll my eyes at. But it does beg the question, what was he actually trying to do? What was going to happen if Kate made it there? And, I know that, Dan, you were talking about what, like, the Discord consensus on when these spikes occurred.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of things from this conversation that I took away, and then combined with what Reeve says right now, or around this point of the conversation. Rufus brings up the Magnus materia, and then on top of that, he mentions that there were simultaneous energy spikes from reactors all over the world. But interestingly, he says it in a way that sets it up to be, or at least implied heavily, that everybody should be aware of this. He goes, we should all be aware of the fact that this has been happening. Mm-hmm. Now, that to me suggests that this might have been happening for a while. And I don't know the exact amount of time between where Remake ends and where we are now. At least a couple days. At least 3 days.
At least 3 days. At least 3 days.
No, but like I genuinely, that kind of almost makes sense to me. Like it could be like 3 or 4 days. The amount of times that we've seen the party sleep. They leave Midgard, go to Calm, stay a night. They go to Under Junon, stay a night. Shinra 8, they spend a night on the Shinra
Costa
8.
del Sol.
And Costa del Sol, I don't know if they spend a night?
At Johnny's?
Or did they just rest? Yeah, I don't know if or did they just rest up a bit? But either way, they spent at least 3 nights.
At least 3. Actually. Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the only time that joke's actually been accurate.
It actually might be.
Anyway, yeah. This might be right. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is 3 days could be something that he's applying the board should be aware of, but it could also be something that's been happening even before that.
Yeah.
And with Reeve questioning, Rufus and implying Shinra's actions being more responsible for the weapon's arrival, perhaps they've been on their radar for longer than what happens at the end of Remake. That that the weapons have been around. So, I don't know. There's a lot to unpack with this.
They could have been showing up in the moment that Remake started at the very beginning.
Yeah, with the beginning of the
somebody's going back in time. We can't be doing that. The planet's like, listen, you can't. Come on, you're trying to remake this. You're trying to remake the masterpiece. The planet's like, whoa, pump the brakes. Whoa, and then when you never mind. I'm not going to get into that. Gonna get into that. I'm trying to resist. That's like not even future memories. No. All right. So listen, I do want to point out something because we were talking about how this subtle moment here. The reason why I brought it up, where he says, "How come nobody on the board tried to stop his father?" I was looking at body language. I was looking at Rufus's like direction, where he was directing that statement. It seems like he's not looking at Reeve. Like, I feel like he kind of acknowledges it. I don't know. And I feel like Reeve...
Palmer.
I don't know. I don't know if necessarily he was directing that at Reeve. It could have just been to everyone else in the room. But I totally get where you guys are coming from. So, this scene was really good. I really liked, you're getting the goons, you're getting a look at the bad guys here. Man, my son was watching me play a little bit of this, and he had so many questions. And so many questions. It was so great, dude. I was like, the game is doing its job right now. Now, for the first time since Chapter 1, nay, since the prologue, since the very first thing you play, we get to play as Zack again. We get to get a look at what the heck is going on here. I remember this popping up the first time around going, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Let's see what's going on here. So Elmira, actually I'll throw in this question. Richard Stoll says... Richard Stoll's from the survey. What was everyone's thoughts at this point with the Zack sections? Of course, this being only the second time you do it. Did you have a good idea of what was happening, or were you still pretty confused with what they were going with? Keep in mind, I'm asking. Yeah, he's like,
I was gonna say, was I still confused? I feel like I may still be confused.
So I think I'm more confused now than ever. But anyway,
so the next part of this question doesn't matter. But he says, keep in mind, I'm asking what you thought then, not what you think now that you've finished the game. But
I was confused, and I'm still confused.
My son was like, so why are you playing as a black-haired Cloud? Like, who is this guy? And I'm like trying to answer the questions, and I'm like, yeah, I think he's supposed to be dead. It's like, I'm like, and he goes, so what?
How old's your son?
Where are they? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know if anybody actually knows. Like,
yeah,
I think it's the live stream. I think so. That's my thing. And I didn't know how deep I should go, because my son's asking me this question. I'm like, listen, man, I do 5-hour podcasts on that very question. You're about to dive into something I don't know if you're ready for. But,
Oh man.
but yeah, no, it was like, I don't know. When I got here, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's Zack. Let's see what's going on here. To be completely honest with you, I will always be honest on the show. I didn't care about Zack. Like, I will be honest with you, 100%. You can hate me for it. I don't like this. So I'm gonna respectfully kind of step back, listen to what you guys have to say, and then I'll throw in my theories and everything. But this was I don't like the implications of what it could mean. But afterwards, to kind of go off of what Richard Stolz was saying, and of course, this we will revisit in detail, and I will explain how I've kind of come around to it a lot more than I was the first time. But that's going to be later on. That's going to be a different different breakdown. East Blue says, "I hate you. I hate you." That's all I heard. Anakin. I loved you. I hate you. Great writing, man. This is the best, actually. So,
I mean, I can answer Richard's question. You could quote me on this one.
Okay.
Veto.
Veto.
I don't have an answer. Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead.
No. You actually had. I thought you were just making a veto joke. Do you actually have a?
No, I was.
It's like, yeah, I was. Veto.
No, I mean, okay.
Veto.
I'll be straight up. I feel like when I play this game, I sort of, and this is weird because I feel like the Final Fantasy fandom, the one thing this fandom loves to do more than anything else is think. Whether it's about the characters, the stories.
That's actually the most kind and respectful, like a synopsis of the Final Fantasy VII fandom. That was really great.
Let me repair my statement. They think about anyway. Whoa. No, I mean, I'm one of you. So, like, the thing
about the Genova ride this conversation.
Right.
I will say though, they everybody loves to think about what's happening here, right? I'm sort of just trying to take it at face value. And, seeing here, we are getting cool insights to characters that, I think anytime you have characters who should not coexist together, like these two should not be talking, especially not right now. So it does allow room to flesh out more of their character. Like, I'm trying to look at some of the positive things on this too, because I'll agree, I'm not the hugest fans of these sections, but I think they do offer a lot of cool insights. I love seeing how devoted Elmira is to Aerith. I love seeing how Zack is super devoted to both of them. I like seeing how Zack is confronted with somebody who doesn't trust him, and he's just sort of has to go with the ride here because it's somebody else's daughter, and he's just like, hey man, like, Elmira comes in here, she's like, okay, give me my daughter, I'm taking her. And I think it's interesting, too, that despite the fact that this woman does not like soldiers, we know that from Remake, we know that she doesn't like Zack, we know that she doesn't really like Cloud. She was willing to take care of Cloud. She was willing, she says, hey, if you're going to bring him, I don't have a wheelchair for him. You got to have to carry him, but bring him along. So I think, to me, my biggest takeaway from this scene is we're at least getting character growth for characters who I think largely take up the back burner of this story. Obviously, Zack is integral to the original Final Fantasy VII, but as far as his actual character goes in the game itself, like obviously Crisis Core fleshes him out tremendously, but in Final Fantasy VII, he's not really super fleshed out as a character. He's just sort of a vessel for Cloud's story to, grow. So we're getting really cool insights into, I think, how these characters are, are as people. I think anytime we're given more background info on characters like Elmira, who are important to characters that are, you know, at the forefront of the story, like seeing how Elmira is helps me better appreciate how Aerith is. Seeing the similar traits between them and how they're different.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to this scene that's really cool.
I got possibly a very loaded question that might be like, hey, let's see if we can simplify. I'm trying to think of a way to simplify this as best as I can, because we're obviously going to be diving into this stuff a bunch near the end of the game. But I think I'm posing a question, more of like, hey, an answer, but not really much of an explanation. So what I'm thinking is, where do you think we are right now? Where do you think Zack is in this moment? And you don't have to like explain away your theory. You just have to say, I think that we are an alternate timeline. We're in an alternate world. We're in the live stream. Where you just say, like, where do you think this is happening right now?
Oh no!
I'm gonna say, okay. So, depending on which idea you subscribe to or multiple, there's a bunch of ways to answer this question. A simple way to answer this question that is actually sort of congruent with a whole bunch of ways you can answer this question is just a live stream, because that can mean so many different things. So I could just throw that out and let you guys fight over what that means, since I don't have to explain it. You said I don't have to. So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna take advantage of that.
No, I'm 100% on that
but-
one. Like, so you don't have to explain it. Yeah, you think
yeah,
this
it's-
is a live stream. Okay.
I think
that's a good explanation.
Yeah,
Now-
I mean, I can add some stuff to it without trying to explain the
go for it. Go for it.
specifics. Or so this is my thought, right? My thought is, one way or the other, this is going to, the end of this trilogy is going to feed into Advent Children. Now, it could connect to Advent Children on the front or the back, depending on whether you're viewing this as a sequel, as a loop. It could be both, or sort of a retelling of the original, like it was always this way. But all three of those ideas are also compatible, which is really strange to think about. And what happens in Advent Children? Well, both Aerith and Zack are visible to Cloud at different points and interact with him at different points. So the way I'm viewing the way that they're handling the re-trilogy is they're sort of setting that up right now, so that it doesn't seem disconnected and strange that happens in Advent Children. It's just in continuity with what Cloud has been experiencing. So now, does that mean we even need this scene from Zack right here to have that clarification?
Now there's the question.
We don't, but maybe they're doing something more. Maybe they're doing something different. Maybe it's a misdirect. Maybe they're literally just trying to create 3 more years of conversation. Because I mean, it is a play.
Well, dude, I mean, your use of the word continuity brings up a great question of itself. Because think of how this all started with Zack. Zack shows up into Midgar as all hell breaks loose at the end of like more or less what we're seeing with the rest of the party is the end of Remake. And he's just showing up, and he's got comatose Cloud. So already, you're posing a lot of continuity-based questions.
Yeah.
How is he arriving at the end of Remake? Like, if we're lining the time up as to how it should be, like if he was arriving, that would be well before any of the Remake events transpire. Is there 2 Clouds? Is there just one? You know, like there's a million ways you can interpret this.
I have an insane theory that I don't think anybody's talked about.
All right.
I want to save it for a standalone video.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Dude, way to just blue ball me.
I'm sorry.
Respect, but
I want to save it for. I've been writing this script for a long time. So I have this theory that I don't think anybody's talking about, but of course, I don't want to throw it out there. The reason why I don't want to throw it out there because I feel like there might be some holes in it, and like I want to make sure I plug all my holes. I hate that I said that. I want to make sure.
I'm not
I want to make sure.
I'm not-
I want to
I'm
make
not
sure
touching none of
that
them
there's
holes,
no
bro.
holes in my theory, man. I want to make sure that nobody's gonna blast me in the comments. I'm sorry.
You don't want to get blasted with your holes plugged? Is that what are you saying, Dan?
Oh man.
My word's professional, man. I am a podcaster. So listen, I'm gonna save that theory, but the reason why I wanted to ask you guys is I kind of wanted to see where you guys were at. So so where I'm at with this is I'm gonna revert back to a different theory. That other theory is a different one. This is my original one, or the one that I've been subscribed to for a long time, or like I don't know if whether I conjured it up. I've watched so many different thoughts and theories and read so much stuff, but this is all taking place in the live stream. This is my opinion, everybody's individual world, right? So like this is a consciousness, somebody in the live stream. So when the worlds merge, that's two consciousness merging back. It's a homecoming. We're coming back to the planet. It all takes place within the planet, as Sephiroth says. It encompasses many worlds. So these worlds are just people's worlds, people's afterlife worlds. If you go back to, well, it was, I guess, I don't know if this is canon, but they might be trying to make it a little more canon, was the maiden who traveled the planet or something. It was Aerith.
Yeah, that's a very weird piece of canon.
Right.
Like,
so we can even, you know what? Scratch that. We'll take it to On the Way to a Smile, which the same thing kind of happens there, where Aerith is going.
That's like indisputable canon.
That's yes, exactly. And the same thing is kind of happening there to kind of prove my point, where it's Aerith is in the live stream going to each individual that has passed away to try and get them to accept what happened to them, to dissolve into the live stream, to the flow. Now, what happens when these worlds are filled with despair? So these worlds are now like, they're brought into the live stream. Their world is ending, as Elmira says later on. So now, I don't know, this is where I'm getting a little lost, because if this is just one individual conscious, then that's just one person merging back into the live stream. Their conscious is filled with despair. But if it is just one person's consciousness, how come everybody's reacting with their own personal thoughts? Like Elmira here, Zack, everybody's kind of got
will thing.
Yeah, so like
Maybe it's a will thing. Like you got characters who have, I think, a lot of unresolved story beats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, Zack's story didn't end in a way where I felt like, you know, he took it on the chin. I think he was like, hey man, you know, like I'm gonna stand up for my bro, but
yeah.
I don't think his story ended where he planned on it. Not in the slightest. He had big plans and ambitions going into Midgar. So maybe, you know, I know that sometimes people's will has been something like, you know, strength of character, strength of, you know, will, especially in the live stream, which is why people like Cloud get really messed up in it, because he doesn't have that. So maybe Zack is able to spearhead this whole thing and, you know, take other people's
I think
memories
he's just being
and
transported.
consciousness.
Yeah, like he's just being transported back. But like Centurion says, I think we're getting a little off topic, because we are definitely going to have to return to this conversation. But go ahead, Wiley.
Or
All right.
consider.
Yeah,
Real quick,
cast.
repeat that last question. It was about why other people are interacting. If it's like this person's live stream.
So
okay.
My
Repeat
question
that for me.
was that if each world is an individual's consciousness, then how come everybody in the world is reacting and experiencing this this doomsday in a different way? Cook.
All right. All right. I'm going to make this up on the spot.
Okay.
I'm going to call this the hologram theory. So the way that a hologram works is that light is basically, a laser beam is broken in half. And then the pure beam continues on, and the other half hits whatever the object is you're creating the hologram of. It diffuses, decoheres, and then it's captured. And then when you hit it with the other pure beam, which it was split from, it recoheres as a full image. Now, here's what's interesting about a hologram. Any single part of that hologram contains all of the information of the whole. So you don't need the whole thing. You could take like one little photon of light is encoded with the information of the entire hologram, but it'll recreate a really fuzzy picture. The more of those pieces you have, the more clear the picture becomes. So, interesting thought.
This is okay.
This is basic. The live stream essentially exists as a hologram. Now, like I said, I'm making this up on the fly, but the idea is that it's encoded with the images, ideas, behaviors of all of these people. But what you're getting is the perspective of this piece, and everything else is in relation to it. So everything else is sort of fuzzy in relation to that one lens. If you move over here, this live stream, same thing. So it could be just sort of this fractal of as many live streams as you want.
Yeah, and that I like that. I like that, and like
I didn't put a lot of thought into it.
No, I like where you're going with it, and then you got to bring in the Jung theory and like all that other stuff, and you got to bring in the whole everything's connected in this connected in the consciousness and things like that. So like the consciousness of Elmira is here, right? But what I was going at, and I like what you're doing, because now it adds a whole nother layer, because you would assume that these consciousness within the world carry some sort of energy, spiritual energy, right? Or even if it's just one. Now, this has been a theory that I've brought up many times throughout this podcast or whatever, even on the Prof. Nocta show, that negative energy is more powerful than positive, right? It takes 1 or 5. What was it again? I keep messing this up, but like 5 positives to reverse a negative is the saying and how that goes. So negative energy, the negative life stream, is powerful. So I've always said it, but I think Sephiroth is doing good to the planet, or at least the longevity of the planet. He's preserving the planet, like Aerith is going to say later on, future memories, and we're getting way off track. But the reason why I say it is that if imagine this world, the singular world that Zack is in, the world is ending. All of these people are feeling despair and spite, and the world's going to end, and it's going to go back into the planet's flow. But it's coming back in a negative way. Like everybody who just died, they're not going to want to dissolve it. They're going to feel so much despair. They're going to join Livestream Black, and like he's slowly turning it.
Geostigma.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
He's just slowly going to turn the Livestream black, and Black Livestream might actually be like something that can preserve the planet. But is it what the planet, like as Aerith would say, this is not the way that it's supposed to be. So, anyways, I do kind of feel like maybe we should get back on track. I'm sorry about that.
Oh yeah, I just wait, sorry. What?
I was gonna say, to get back to Zack.
Get back to Zack. Back on Zack.
Is that I think a big reason that they're putting so much of him in here, not just in these ways where you're asking questions about where is he actually, what's happening, is because I think they're looking to amplify that plot twist, right? Mm-hmm. From the OG. Zack literally is the big plot twist from the OG. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine where they're going to go with that. And so I feel like a lot of this is just sort of feeding and prepping something that they're going to do in part 3. It could be new, it could be the same, but I feel like we wouldn't have all this if they weren't absolutely trying to set this up, because the OG kind of it could have set it up better. I'll put it like that, especially in hindsight.
Agreed. Yeah. I was just going to say, I think, just to kind of end this whole Zack talk thing, I think what they're doing in this game a lot of the time as well, like, you know, not to jump to chapter 14, but the confusing ending there in a lot of ways is playing off of the fact that a lot, you might argue most of the player base for Rebirth is people who are familiar with the original game. Like a large majority, I imagine, of people who played Rebirth are probably people who played the original game, or at least are familiar enough with the story. So I think that they're trying to play with us in a way with story beats that we're familiar with, but tackle them in a way now that leave us feeling the same feelings that we were supposed to get originally, but now we're not gonna. That's gonna fall almost on deaf ears with us because we know what's coming.
Mhm.
Like Eric's death is not going to be shocking and surprising. So what do? We make it shocking and confusing. Zack's twist and the build up to the revelation is not going to be shocking to us anymore because we're all expecting it. So what are we doing? We're adding a new confusing and shocking element because that's what you originally got. But so I think it's in spirit of the original game, but it's tackling it in a way that's different. Whether or not it's good or not, I don't know. But
all right, one word response on this one, because this is coming from Block Sheep from the survey. One word response.
Okay.
Let's see. Do you think the world that we are playing in with Remake Project is all memory in the live stream? And since Cloud and Aerith are unconscious in the scene later on, I will add the big piece of evidence. Okay. Best piece of evidence when Tifa does her Medial. Okay, that's later on. Anyways, basically that's the question. I'm just going to take a chunk of Block Sheep saying, do you think this world, the big twist is that it's all in the live stream anyway?
I hope not.
Okay. That's
three. I know it's 3 times the words.
That's at least 3 words.
It's at least 3 words.
At least 3 words, man.
Okay.
Wiley, one word answer. Do you think it's
just so I understand the question? This is the entirety of Remake so far, like Remake and Rebirth.
Yeah, the Cloud stuff.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
If it's true, you don't need whispers, right?
The twist is like
I should take that question back because we're gonna talk about that for a half hour. I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Yeah. Retract. Veto.
The other half of my own.
We get to the live stream sequence and they were like, "Hey, this is the live stream sequence. You've been playing the live stream sequence the entire time."
You could argue the whole thing is it could be in the live stream in one way or another, but I mean.
Hey guys.
Nope is what Catherine says. Nope. My one word response. Cool. I gotta take it from Cloud.
I feel like we need to segue out of this.
Yeah, we're getting out of this right now. Actually, I just want to say. Nope.
It looks hang on here. This is nothing. This is not theory at all. I just want to say it visually looks cool. I like the rainbow connecting the broken plate and filling in the gap that was the old plate.
Oh man, where's that at?
It's about to happen.
Oh, it's about to happen. Okay.
It'll happen in a few
Don't
seconds.
talk about rainbows in this, man.
No, look.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you piece that together. That's connecting the 2 ends of the that's Sector 7.
That's funny.
And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not going into a half an hour theory.
It's not Sector 7, but yeah, that's funny.
Visually, that looks cool to me. It's like, hey, that's Sector 7. It's connected.
Well, it's not Sector 7, right? Like this isn't Sector 7, right? Because this is the This is the half.
No.
Yeah.
That would be 6, right?
Oh, then never mind. I don't know what the hell.
Hey, dude, that's cool though. It is connecting.
It's cool. It's cool. I mean, that's from the memory of a completed Midgar. You know what? Just I'm gonna leave everything on just a question I want for the comments because I still can't get my head around this whole This is for the comments on the VOD because I really would like somebody to explain this. I understand narratively why they do different dogs for stamp, but
yes.
If we're going with this is all being in the live stream, why does the live stream like different dogs and why they make all the time? I don't know. Okay, moving on.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Hey, by the way, to get out of this, hooray, we're out of this.
I don't know if I want to yet.
Stamp.
I don't know if I want the passcode is stamp.
The passcode stamp.
Right.
Oh no, I wasn't ready for the cavalry. I'll bring the cavalry in later.
Bring them.
I gotta put Lieutenant something. Richard Jenkins.
Oh my god.
All right, listen.
I see Black Sheep in the comments here talking about the live stream and the deal. So that's a good theory.
We literally read his question from the survey. That was your question that brought us down this rabbit hole that I just can't seem to get out of because I got one thing, observation. It is not a theory. but Aerith's materia is still white in this world. That was something that I wanted to point out. All right.
Thanks for pointing it out. Let's get that.
And that's all I'm doing. Let's get the hell out of this. But now listen,
we're not even going to touch this thing in the sky here. Right?
This thing in the sky. We are going to touch it. I'm so sorry. We got the little fingy right there. I can't go up there. Now I'm going to put my finger in the.
Which way, dude? I feel like Discord's reversed. From
not getting me to say that. You're not getting me to say I'm going to put my finger in that, and I'm not going to say I'm going to put my finger in the.
Am I going the right way?
Are we all going to put our fingers in the crack?
Oh, come on.
Okay, come on. All right, so listen, this transition could have been better. All right, listen, this is what I want to try. This is what I want to kind of say, because we dip to black. We dip to black, and then we come back in with Aerith staring at the sky. This transition, I don't know. Maybe they decided, whoa, that the implications would be way too heavy here. But there are implications because we're looking at the sky. Zack is looking at the sky, and guess what? We come back. We fade in. PS5 load time. Thank you. And we get there, and we're looking at the sky again, and it's Aerith looking at the sky. Very interesting. Where this could have had an opportunity to kind of like go up, look at the crack in the sky, and then just kind of dissolve into this clear sky that Aerith is looking at. But there's something interesting about the way this is shot. Why is Aerith looking at the sky? Could it be that she's just pondering? She's thinking about her mom. Where's Midgar from here? And that's what she asked Red. But there seems to be something here that Aerith, is she seeing the crack in the sky? Is she seeing something, or is she feeling something? There's something that she's feeling from that alternate world or whatever, but she's got something going on here. We're looking at the sky, the framing of this. She looks like she's concerned. Like that look, we kind of lingered on her face for a little while. And then Cloud even had to snap her out of it. Hey, which way do you think Midgar is? Where were we just in the Zack world? We were in Midgar.
Yeah. Cooking, son. I like it.
Yeah, and then so, of course, Red does his thing. And he's like, hey, it's this way. And then
I saw the sun rise and set there.
Thank you.
All right.
Somebody has to bring it up. I like how Cloud was trying to comfort her. Hey, seemed fine when I saw her last, and she's gonna hate me for this. Talk to her as soon as you get home. She'll understand. And she's like, yeah, really looking forward to that conversation. It just seems like she's like, we don't know what she knows. She's claiming she doesn't have the future memories or whatever the memories were taken from her and all that stuff. But like, we keep getting this, like, Aerith knows something. And like the way she says, like, she's going to hate me for this. Almost seems like she's going to hate me for what I'm about to do later on in this game, you know? Like, hey, talk to you when you get home. Yeah, I would be really looking forward to that conversation, actually, Cloud, if it was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that would be great, you know? Now, listen, earlier I talked about how the music was heroic. You know who's not heroic or who's not doing their job properly? They're freaking scouts, and they didn't see this gigantic Valkyrie custom robot flying up to her. Did they stand up here and watch? Did they watch the battle unfold? Because they seem like they're ready. They're waiting for us. Like, what? Look, hey, over here! I saw that whole thing go down. That was crazy, you know? Dude, wow. Could have helped you out. Two long-range characters up here. We could have helped out, but I guess, you know.
What we didn't see was, as they were flying away, Elena went, oh, look, more shitbirds, and she dropped one for them to fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So don't worry. They were fighting their own Valkyrie. Don't worry.
You managed to catch her before she got to the reactor, which means it's literally around the corner. So we caught her, and we stood up here and just watched you guys defeat this thing. And then somebody said, "Are you tired?" Like, the audacity. Yeah, I'm a little tired. Just got finished, like, fighting this thing. All right. So look, they have an overlook. They literally have an overlook.
I love this shot.
This shot is beautiful, bro.
Yeah, this is my postcard right here. This is my postcard for Corell.
Postcards of Gaia. Postcards from Gaia. Yeah.
No,
it's a pretty shot.
Yeah,
He needs to
right
look
there,
up, hit
man.
that angle. Come
Just
on.
like coming around that corner and seeing this. Oh man. Now the one thing I will say is that this does look kind of drastically different than how it looked in the original. And I'll bring up the concern here, but we'll circle back around at the end of this when it can really show what I mean. But I see nowhere that a train can run out of. And I'm honestly feeling a little bit concerned that one of the most iconic moments in the OG is going to be excluded. Like, we can't exclude that, right? Like the train coming out of this, trying to stop it before it runs into the town. Like,
there's the broken track going into Corell,
and it's broken already, and we're going to come back around to that, but it's already destroyed, which means like the train, I looked at that for a while and I'm like, well, the train's just going to go into the water. Everything's going to be fine. If there is a train, because we're talking about minecart rails, we're not talking about a train. How are they going to do that unless if it's coming in from a different angle, which is something we can talk about when we get there. But like maybe the train is coming in from somewhere else and not where it originally comes in at. But I don't know. I was just like, yo, I see nowhere that train's. Yeah. But this is a beautiful shot as we come on down this cliff here as we approach the ruined reactor.
Am I the only one that finds Mako appetizing looking? I might be alone on this sentiment, but
I'm sorry. I'm going back to Zack.
Here we go.
I'm going back.
I feel like
we gotta go back. We gotta go back. I feel like Jack. We gotta go back.
I feel like if given a cup of Mako, I drink it.
Listen,
I just drink.
What's
the worst thing can happen?
Let's see what happens. Like
I don't know. That looks like toothpaste to me, bro. That's.
I don't want to sound like a total idiot, but to say toothpaste be kind of appetizing, but like
toothpaste be kind of appetizing.
Oh man, I hear brush his teeth 10 times a day. Let's go.
Never be stanking, bro.
Never.
Listen, munching on that toothpaste.
Munching on it. The only reason why I wanted to go back to this, is because I wanted to say that this is reminiscent of the 2015 reveal trailer. Of the petals, kind of like the little flower and the petals kind of wilting away.
I thought that too. At the very beginning.
Of course, these petals float up into the crack in the sky. So just kind of wanted to, and what does Aerith say? Follow the yellow flowers.
Yeah,
yeah. Something
there's definitely some subtext.
You know what else Aerith said?
What did she say?
Get
out of Zack's world and move on.
No. She also said, "Oh man, that Mako looks mad appetizing."
Yo, I want to use that as toothpaste.
Peach Booty said Baja Blast.
Yeah, that's exactly, dude. It looks like Mountain Dew. It just like maybe
Mako Dew.
Slightly Mako Dew.
Mako Dew.
Mountain Mako. It just looks kind of. Look, I wasn't throwing that out there thinking you guys would understand. But it's nice to know that there's an audience out there who can relate. It looked kind of tasty. I just wanted to say.
And another thing I wanted to kind of point out about the mocap performance or the animation quality, I thought it was really cool when Cloud is like, "Hey, go home and what did he say? Something about like, have that conversation when you get there or whatever." And she just kind of like. And it, again, plays into the idea that she knows something. Or, like, she's like, yeah, I guess I'll never have that conversation. Because she just kind of, like, subtly nods her head. Like, yep. Like, it's just so good. Like, if you pay attention to these subtle... it's probably mocap. Hey, we're back at Zack's world.
Get us out.
Get us out of this world.
More interludes than I thought.
Get it out. Get it out.
I mean, it's just really not even, like... analysis or theory juice or whatever you would, but like it's just kind of like I like to appreciate the art here, and like as you can see, like the subtle animation that she's got something on her mind. But when Zack or when get out of my mind. So when Cloud says watch the animation. Watch the animation. I'm sorry, I'm so out of this. All right, right here. She seemed fine when I started. Maybe a little worried, and then she just You know, it's just so good. Like, notice what she went.
Yeah. There's nuance
Oh,
for sure.
man, the nuance, the good stuff there. I just wanted to point it out. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I spent too long.
Nah, hey, this is what we're here for.
Gotta
We can't
appreciate
hit
it,
5
man.
hours without this.
Yeah, I want to appreciate the appreciations, you know?
These
I
last few
appreciate
episodes
it.
were a little short, so
I
we had
appreciate
to.
it. Yeah, we really had to bring it up
We
a
need to
couple
return to
notches.
form.
All right, so here we go. We're done with that. We're out of Zack's. We're done with that. All that crap. We meet back up. We already talked about that. Yuffie asks about the robes, and then they're all like, I like this conversation. They're victims of Shinra, a commonality that all of these people in this present moment have. Victims of Shinra, every single one of them. Such a cool like encapsulation there. Now, especially Barrett though, because he's being so close to home, where he's definitely got that, you know, what Shinra did to him. But Yuffie explains that when Shinra invaded, they killed thousands and leveled towns, forced a BS truce. Yuffie says the old geezers at the top wanted a ceasefire, not the rest of Wutai. So one of those old geezers that she's referring to is probably her father, because we heard in intermission that she doesn't really speak fondly of her father, and when she was talking to Sonan. So, and also it's kind of like, I don't know, like a little nod or a pun or whatever, but at the top, you know, top of the pagoda, you know.
Of the pagoda thing.
Yeah. The Pythagoreum. This is going on too long. Colonel Lodbrok shows up.
Bring him into this.
We're bringing Lodbrok in. It's getting crazy. Wiley said it
That's
earlier.
for
This
40
chapter
minutes.
has everybody. The whole cast is here. We got Lodbrok as he shows up with
Yep.
3 ex-soldiers who helped turn
And
the
then
tide.
Cloud. Who'd you say?
Who? Yeah, who? Oh, come on
So-
now.
so
Stop
she
it.
says Lodbrok. I'm saying
Stop it.
just spitting facts. Okay, what you do with those facts is up to you. Be responsible.
He does comment as soon. Be responsible. 3 ex-soldiers helped turn the tide. Viceroy Saruf helped out. So interesting that Lodbrok showed up first, and then Viceroy Saruf must have found out about this uprising, and then helps out here to kind of fuel that. But they don't seem to know each other in that chapter 4. Like he didn't seem to know that Lodbrok was alive, is what I'm trying to say. Until that moment. Which, all right, we'll get in that later. Form the interim government. So this does help kind of put things in perspective for Yuffie and her desire for that strong materia. We know why she wants it so badly now. I like that this kind of does give us something that the OG didn't really do too much. We're finding out, we're building up to Wutai. We're building up to this. So it's going to be such a awesome moment when we finally arrive at Wutai in part 3. Now the new Shinra asks, when Yuffie talks about the interim government, she says, oh crap, there's a typo here. She says that when the war ends, then the whole country will come together and decide what type of government will lead them. So, in my opinion, this is implying that Wutai is a nation and not just one town. What do you believe we might see in the expansion in Part 3? And I know future memories, but this really intrigues me. So, new Shinra, I'm glad you asked that, because I absolutely believe that Wutai is going to be massive. It's going to be a country for sure. We got Fort Tamlin. We don't forget about that. We got that's going to be from the compilation. I think they're going to expand that out even further. We're going to have the whole island, that whole country island there, man. It's probably going to be pretty massive, and it's not just going to be that one little vacation spot that we visit in OG. So I'm pretty excited about what they do, because also, remember, we have to make Wutai feel like a threat to what we've already been feeling in Remake, which is this overbearing threat, like this just, that outreaches all the way to every end of the continents that we've crossed an ocean, and Shinra's presence is still here. So, how do we make Wutai a formidable threat? Like, we got to make that country actually fully realized. So yeah, I absolutely think it's going to be a full-on nation, not just one town.
Wasn't it just like one screen?
Yeah, it was really it was really small, and then you go up to the mountain, like
yeah. As I say, it's like two interiors, one outdoor area, and then the statue. Like on the mountain.
A lot of bridges in the mountains, though. A lot of bridges. They just built bridges for no reason. Like, who wants to go all the way to the south end of Wutai? There's nothing there, but we got bridges if you want.
Dude, what a rags to riches story. One screen to one nation. It's gonna be crazy. the glow up.
One screen to one nation.
That's gonna be on the sign when you walk in. Welcome to Wutai.
Yeah,
one screen to one nation.
One screen to one nation. Oh man, that's gonna be so good. I do believe that they're even going to hold us back from going to Wutai for a while. I feel like it's gonna be a big deal. So Red goes. Oh, we haven't gotten there yet. So we're going to come over here where Yuffie's like, yeah, take a look at this. It's crazy. She's like, all this Mako, that means there's got to be some kind of huge freaking materia in there, right? I'm going to be so powerful. It's scary. It's going to be awesome. But then the little rumbly and the tumbly down there are getting a little upset. This was me during COVID. And then all of a sudden, just boom, there it is. So everybody's looking at it like, what? I mean, that is still freaking massive. Massive weapon there. If it is a weapon. Now, because even Red goes directly to calling it a weapon. Like,
yeah,
they must have been like, yo, listen, we know exactly what that is. But his response indicates that Hojo must have talked about it quite a bit when he was in the lab in captivity. Because he's referring to it like Hojo has sought them out for years. So he must have talked about it quite a bit. But also, Red is from Cosmo Canyon. Where, yeah.
Well, no, but it'd be interesting because he might have the most insight from both a spiritual and a scientific perspective if he can combine his knowledge of what, the residents of Cosmo Canyon got to say, combine that with whatever he picked up from Hojo and Shinra's labs and whatnot. If somebody in this world's gonna know what a weapon is by pure sight, it's got to be this guy.
Right.
Yeah. Assuming that nobody else has seen them. If everybody's just speculated what they've looked like up until this point, I would trust his judgment if he overheard Hojo talking about it, was able to see maybe things Hojo had on the screen, and then everything he's learned growing up. This guy definitely knows probably the most going into this.
Yeah, so that's a great point. The scientific and the spiritual side of this. That's awesome. And then I like how Yuffie was like, she wants that ginormous materia and I'm gonna capture it, and Red goes, that guardian of the planet. You're going to just
right.
That's awesome. The guardian of the planet.
I'm just imagining her intro with the giant materia, but she's just got a
like this gigantic ball rolling.
A ninja from Wutai.
She's just like on top of it, hugging it. How's she gonna get it back home? Like just like
where is she planning on putting?
She'll do the little walk the ball trick.
Yeah, she's on top of it
all the way across the ocean. No, she'll stick it into the sister ray and shoot it back.
That's it right there.
That's it.
What are you saying, Wiley? I feel like
what?
No, you seemed like you were saying something before.
Just Yuffie's super materialistic.
Thanks.
She's a materia girl.
Yeah, living in a materia world. Yeah. Mike Sloan, thanks so much for watching. Thank you. So now Red Sarge 99 writes in, what did you think of the change to the ruined reactor? We kind of talked about that a little bit. Also, adding the weapons in this early, and of course, East Blue Drew says, I was surprised of seeing them so early. What did you guys think of seeing a weapon this early?
Cool.
Cool.
And there you have it. It was
deep
definitely
insight from the panel.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's cool. Anyways, you want to go back to Zack? No, I think it was actually. I mean, I was really surprised to see it, but I think it adds a lot of intrigue here, a lot of interesting. Like this is the kind of stuff that I was like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good, you know. And we're also fleshing out characters here, like Yuffie. I think we're starting to see what she's really after here. We're getting to see that the planet is in grave danger at this very moment. Like we're not waiting until the Black Materia has summoned Meteor. We're doing it now. Like the planet is like, yo, we gotta go. We gotta do this now. If it is truly a weapon like that, and I like how Barrett realizes that if these Guardians are, Guardians of the planet when the planet's in grave danger, then Avalanche must have been right about Shinra. And I like that he's saying this almost as if it's still a question. He's posing it as a question because he's still looking for that validation of the things that he's done. And like, he's like, weren't we? ? So still unsure. You picked up on that too, Wiley?
I did. My note here was that Barrett's still looking for validation. Was Avalanche right about Shinra's threat to the planet? And I mean, you covered all those points beautifully, bro.
Nice.
I think that plays. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I've criticized his character in a positive way. Like I think this is a great aspect of his character, but I think it's a big flaw with his character where I think a lot of his like the passion and the drive that he puts behind Avalanche, I think is not entirely, but a lot of it I think is a front for guilt that he feels about the situation with Corell and his anger towards Shinra. I think don't get me wrong, Barrett cares about the planet. I don't doubt that he does, but I think that the drive that he presents as we gotta save the planet is really a drive of Shinra screwed me and the people I love and care about over. And I'm gonna get, I'm gonna get revenge.
Yeah.
And so I think that this validation's or that need for it's playing into that.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like it's a crack into the facade that he's and I'm not saying it's like a total, I'm not saying that he's lying about his intentions and his character, but I do think that he is not exactly as forthcoming as he puts on. To me, it feels like we got to save the planet. Don't you hear the cries of the planet? I'm sure he believes these things, but I think that the real drive is not so much that as much as it's, man, I got to get revenge. Man, Shinra really screwed me over. And I could be alone on that sentiment, but I think it makes his character better, especially in scenes like this where, hey, I need the validation.
And we're building to the next chapter. And I think we're going to revisit that too, where we get to see, I don't know, like we get to see what that revenge looks like when you're not surrounded by friends. And this is an interesting one here. The reason why I paused it, because Cloud reminds him that Shinra isn't the only threat. Now, Aerith seems to be blunt here. Very to the point. Talking won't stop him. Interesting from Aerith, right? I don't know why. I know why. Or at least I have an idea why. But this hit me, with Aerith going, yeah, and talking won't stop him. So I wonder if we're seeing a more focused Aerith. Because we're going back to Zack, and with that whole crack in the sky, and when she's looking at, when we go back at her looking at the sky and pondering something, I feel like she has now got this sense of doomsday. There's a sense of oh, that's right, this is what I'm here for, and now she's focused.
I would like to
a reminder, not like a revelation, but a reminder. Mm-hmm.
So just real quick, this could also go back to the fact that in chapter 4, they did try to talk to him. They did try to be diplomatic. It's too late for that. That's done.
I'm to Sephiroth. To Sephiroth. Because
yeah.
Because Cloud says Shinra isn't the only threat, and then Aerith.
I think all three of us.
I was still thinking about.
No, and I'm saying talking as in just us sitting here talking. Like she's not saying to talk. Like we all interpreted this so differently.
No, she has broken beyond the game, and now she's talking about our world. She's like, and talking won't stop it. All right, so let's just.
No, yeah,
stop talking
that's what
for
she
5 hours.
She's talking,
all right.
She's talking about Final Fan TV. No, so, no, I just took it as, hey, us talking is not going to stop, so we need to go. And then I thought, with that in mind, Dan, I'm like, yeah, that's a real nice sentiment, but like in 40 minutes, if that, she's going to go chill at the Gold Saucer and be really happy to go do a dance number.
Yes.
So, like,
yes. She'll be back. She'll be back, but I think in the moment, she just had a reminder. I think in the moment, she has this reminder. Like I said, not a revelation like looking at the sky. That. Yeah. She's not like looking at this as a revelation.
Man, we gotta lock in.
We gotta lock in right now.
20 minutes later, I'm not locked in anymore.
I'm
actually the opposite.
She's also the only one who doesn't say anything when you see these gigantic weapons pop out. Like, she doesn't say anything. I don't think she has any dialogue, which is interesting as well. Like, we're just sitting back there, and she's like, "Yep, cool."
Sometimes you just see the big fish.
Not a good sign, guys. Not a good sign. Anyways, we gotta go.
What was Old Salt say about this?
Old Salt, man, he warned these kids about. He's like, I've seen that giant monster before, man. I've tried to warn these kids. Don't go in the water.
Try to warn them.
Don't lean your head forward into a Mako tank. Dummies.
Don't drink the forbidden Baja Blast.
Yeah, the forbidden Baja Blast.
So Jackie commented that earlier.
The forbidden Baja
talking about it being tasty.
Jackie's journal.
Jackie's journal.
Yeah.
She's got more insight on the side quests.
Okay. Oh God, we got a long way to go. Let's get going.
I
know. Peach Booty Poppin says, "All right, back to Zack."
All right, back to Zack.
Code word for getting back on track.
All right, let's get back on Zack. Back on. Oh no, he's Peach Booty says back to Zack, but I said back on Zack. Interesting.
I'll say back with Zack.
Okay.
And Wiley, what do you not just?
I'll do you one better. Why is Zack? All right.
Why?
Yeah, right.
All right.
For Zack.
All right, everybody. It's a Zack attack.
Back for Zack.
Zack attack. There we go.
All right. So yeah, I just feel like she was a little more like she's got a sense of urgency now. Maybe just like a reminder of why she's here and what she's doing. And now they arrive at the Corell mines, and Tifa looks to Barrett for direction here, in which you can tell that Barrett doesn't want to be here. The bridge is up, and they need to get to the control room. But the robes don't feel like waiting for that, so they just walk right off the bridge and into the water. Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, this moment, and I'm gonna bring us to it, because this, oddly enough, could be a Warrior of Hype get hype moment. You know what I mean?
This is dope.
In a weird way, because
no, I know.
Yeah, because it like all right, we're going to see. Did I already pass it? I don't know if we did or not, but like we got to get up there.
No, I think it's about to happen.
And we're going to see the robe man fall off. But I love the camera work here as we get that like that focus, and then like the like how I don't know what that's called when you focus in on one object but everything else is kind of zooming out of focus, like the depth of field is going nuts, or the field of view. So like look, the camera shake. Zack or Cloud, whoa, and then whoa.
Yeah.
That was such a cool moment, man. Cloud trancing out there.
Confirmation.
Yeah.
The whole party knows now 100%, no doubt. Man is headed down that path.
Yeah. I mean, he was.
You didn't know 100% though. I feel like
Red says the Mako must have got to him. So like
yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, I don't think. I mean, some of them have to know more than others. I think Barrett, if anybody, is the most tapped into, because I feel like he's always the one, and probably due to how much he's looked after the robes, he's the most adamantly like protective of the robes. So I feel like he's also weirdly taking on this like protective role of Cloud,
Yeah.
where he's catching on to Cloud being weird in these moments that seem to always be tied with the robes.
I mean, Barrett was ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
East
Barrett
Blue.
caught him.
East
Ready.
Blue. I love how quick Barrett was to look at Cloud, is what East Blue says. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, is that like Red, for example, you know, for as much as I love how insightful he is, I don't think he picked up on the connection there. I think
He was
just
overwhelmed with the smells of Mako and Baja Blast.
Yeah.
I said Centurion says, I think everybody had a sip of Baja Blast before the stream. Next week, I'm definitely buying a Baja Blast, dude.
I would like to. I'm gonna try and get one right before the show.
I want to get that.
No,
I want to get that midnight one or whatever the one that's came out, so that way I can be like, I'm sipping on that live stream.
Oh,
black.
the Mako midnight.
You know, I'm on that black, the live stream black, y'all.
Right.
No, but I just
It's
want
that
to say,
live stream, bro.
live stream.
I think it's just interesting that Barrett, of all people, seems to be the most tapped into Cloud. I just feel like, at least from what I'm seeing, characters like Red, who you would think being so worldly and knowledgeable would be more like in tune with what's happening here. I feel like he just ruled it off like, oh yeah, the Mako must have got to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have guys like Barrett, who I feel like has had a lot of doubt we've seen in previous chapters going up to this point. So I don't know like to why, like, as you were saying, they should all have like,
It should
like
be locked in right now. I mean, I
don't think they are. I think maybe at most it's like Barrett and perhaps Tifa to a degree. We haven't really seen what Aerith thinks, but then again, we also don't know how much she knows. So I'm not even gonna peel back the layers with her. Yuffie obviously just got here, so like, what the hell does she know? And then Red, I feel like, is not reading this situation unless he's trying to be kind to Cloud. Like when in chapter 4, when Cloud was like, hey, why don't you sniff him out? Maybe Red's being kind back, and it's like, maybe it's just the Mako, and you're not like degrading. That'd be cool. But, I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, either way, like this is definitely one of those narrative beats where the player is supposed to be locked in on this, and
we are supposed to.
Future memories. We got about 2 chapters before something crazy happens, if you know what I'm saying. But like, yeah, this was huge for me. This was a great rebirth or birth.
Great birth. Yeah. Yep. I think this
I don't
was
think
also
that was
mine.
my. Was this my birth? No, it wasn't. But this is definitely up there, though.
Yeah, that was my best birth on this one. The new aspect of the game introduced for Rebirth. So not in the original game. This is definitely my best birth. Now, what do you guys think about this dungeon? So we're going to talk about this for a little bit, because let's talk about the gameplay. Let's talk about level design here, because interestingly enough, I go over to Gamers Prey. I'm watching that. I'm reading the comments, and the comments section is just filled with people who apparently got lost. A lot of people got lost. Now, did you guys get lost?
I don't believe I got lost on this part, but
even with the yellow paint. No,
I don't know if I would have done it without it, man.
Maybe
that
if they
yellow
put
paint
bright,
saved
if
my life.
they didn't have yellow flags, like it was blue flag. If they would have played the bright yellow flags, I wouldn't have got lost. No, I'm just kidding. I did not get lost here, so I was wondering if this was a common thing, but with us, the panel.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't remember getting lost. I feel like it was pretty straightforward what you had to do each time you pushed.
There's a difficulty to, like, not like gameplay wise, but like development wise. The verticality of a dungeon here, like it's a very vertical dungeon. So you have those hurdles, those challenges to kind of figure out, okay, how do we make this intuitive? Like, how do we make this the player's not going to get lost, but we are also, hey, we got to look up. We got the grapple hook. We got a couple of different mechanics going on here. I mean, I don't know. I never felt like I personally got lost with this. I think it might have come down to maybe the pain point was when you had to go back down to go up. You know what I mean? Like, there was a moment where you had to go back down to where Barrett and
when do you go?
I think it was when Barrett and Aerith were waiting. No, Barrett and Aerith. Barrett and Tifa were waiting for you, and they're like, "Hey, you got to go flip the thing on, and we can go up the ladder." I honestly don't know. I'm just trying to figure out.
End, right?
I think
don't
so.
remember having to go back down unless it was
Maybe?
for optional content.
I mean, like
Yeah.
I didn't get lost, but maybe it's possible I doubled back or something. I don't remember it taking a long time.
I remember not getting lost because lost is like I don't know where the heck I'm going. I don't know what's going on. But I felt
Right.
like the level was challenging me to think a little bit more, which it wasn't Mithril Mines where Mithril Mines was you can't get lost. Like there's no it's a very straight linear dungeon. Whereas I like the dungeons that have a little bit more thoughtful navigation. I will say that this wasn't the most fun navigation for like it wasn't the most fun way to go about this this dungeon. The swinging was fun until you get to the little gears that go like a little. All right, just freaking get the gear to go, and you're like,
I wasn't a fan of that either.
Yeah, and so like there's some things here. It wasn't as fun as it could be, but personally, I like the environmental puzzle solving, the like to make me think about where I need to go. That's what a dungeon is for me. Like I want to enter a dungeon thinking, all right, here we go. I better make it out. Let's see if I can make it out alive. You know, like it's a maze. Think about the first couple Final Fantasies. Like the dungeon design in the first couple those are mazes. Those are like straight up maze like dungeons.
Yeah, well, not the second one with the 4-door problem.
Oh. No, the second one,
Let's
the
not
empty
talk about
room,
that.
the empty rooms. Oh, but like
I think
yeah,
no, I think the only time I got like there were some points maybe in my first playthrough where I went back to where I was, but never to a point where I was lost. I feel like this dungeon. I mean, it does kind of have the samey feel to it all over, like that industrial, half mountain, half industrial. So I could see where some
I get that. Yeah,
I didn't personally. So like if I went somewhere, I'd be like, oh no, I've been here before, and I would know to turn back. The only part that I remember maybe like, and again, this is like a loose maybe because on my replay, it took me maybe an additional like 20 seconds to figure out what I had to do, was the switch that you had to use Yuffie herself, like when she's swinging on the grappling hook and you have to slam her body into that that's the only one I think that might have thrown me for a loop because you know it's most of them you like either throw the shuriken or you hit something and
look
you swing and then you grab another swing, you know, like you go from one swing point to another swing point. That one might have been the only part where I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? Because I remember going back and forth on it, and I'm like, wait, nothing's happening. And then I saw the blue, like the very blue switch. I'm like, am I supposed to? No, you just slam her whole freaking body
slam her into it. I like that they were having fun with that. They wanted you to have fun with like breaking boxes while swinging. And I thought it was very satisfying in this moment here. I don't know if we'll see it, but like when you pull down like the 100 boxes, like East Blue shouts it out, and I wanted to shout it out on like verbally. The FF10 trials, that is my favorite type of level design, like for Final Fantasy dungeons. I want to enter a dungeon and feel like, okay, I want to figure out this puzzle. So I love the Final Fantasy X trials. So I just wanted to throw that there. I also feel like Final Fantasy 15 had some good secret dungeons. So
physics in this game, I love.
I know it's like you can tell that they're playing around with the physics. I don't know whether or not we're going to talk about that in just a second here, but okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Major Trenton writes in the survey and says the traversal through the mine was done really well, and the grappling hook and the pole elevators seem to really speed up the traversal. Do you think they'll add more of this type of traversal in Part 3, or at least refine the climbing to be a little faster? You guys have any hopes for Part 3? Let's just like kind of, I don't know, quickly say what we're thinking about Part 3 level design for dungeons. What are you guys hoping for? Is this the kind of level design that you're hoping for in Part 3? How can they improve upon it?
I like this dungeon enough. You know, I think that it serves itself. I mean, you know, comparing it to, if we're comparing it to what we've already played so far, and we're really the biggest like dungeon, I think, is 3. You know,
yeah,
like
this is like the first dungeon since Mithril Mines, like.
Right,
yeah.
which that's, I mean, and that's Baby's first dungeon.
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
it's the first dungeon of the game. You sort of just breeze through it. There's not really much to explore or do anything with. This one's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I don't know. I mean,
this is better. This is better for me. Like, this is better than Mithril Mines because I'm actually using some thoughtful planning here. I
feel like I had to think more.
Yeah, I have one thing I'd like to add for part 3, but Wiley, go ahead and share your thoughts on that. What are your thoughts?
So first of all, I do like what they did with this. I like the variety. It definitely felt like sort of a callback to intermission in some different ways. They took some things you could do there with Yuffie and kind of went ham with it.
Sure.
The biggest thing in regard to part 3 that I'm looking forward to, that I want to see with dungeons, is how Sid and Vincent interact, because they've sort of given every character, except maybe Tifa. I guess they're chapter 9. She's got the grapple, but the characters all have sort of a unique way of interacting at different points in dungeons, and some of them are really unique. Like you talk about like Red and stuff like that. And I can only imagine what they might do with Sid and Vincent if they carry this trend forward. So I'd really like to see him just continue to sort of step it up.
Especially Sid, because we're going to be, if we're going by the beats of the original, we're going to be playing for him for, I presume, maybe a chapter or 2. I don't know how long they're going to keep Cloud out of commission. But, I don't know if we're going to strictly keep Sid to like an open world setting where he could play kind of similarly to Cloud, or if they are going to give him a dungeon where
I think Sid will have something to do with jumping to high locations. I feel like that might be cool. That might be something.
Or fixing things.
And then I'm sure Vincent might maybe have something to do with transforming into a beast. I don't know. We'll see.
That could be.
Like maybe breakable walls or something.
Maybe he'll just shoot crates.
Maybe, more crates to be shot. You could never go wrong with that. No, my opinion, and we can move on from it. I'm hoping that they bring in like a Castlevania style or like a Metroidvania style thing where you need a particular person to do a particular thing. I think that would be cool. Like, hey, I need to swap to Yuffie to make sure I can throw my, to do that, or like. What else? Like, okay, there's something off in the distance. I need Barrett to shoot that. I need to do this. I think that'd be cool. Give me more character-specific traversal options, and then don't tell me. Like, don't make me play as Yuffie.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. I like that idea, though.
I mean, it's a cool idea, but
throw a bunch of secrets in that way.
Exactly.
Teach you through the core gameplay, and then just give you a bunch of stuff to do.
There's I love making it a secret, like East Blue says. Like, definitely feel like I want go crazy with secret locations. And if that's a secret location, you get there and you're like, oh man, I need to have Yuffie in my party. Put Yuffie in your party. Like, so like it's a secret location. I get that the game
a Lego Star Wars, like it's a Lego game format. Where you need a droid.
A lot of games have done it for sure. Yeah, a lot of droids. Yeah, a lot of droids. A lot of games have done that before. Where it's like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I want that to be the thing. I get at a certain extent the game will try to hold your hand a little bit to guide you along because they want you to not feel like you're getting frustrated with a level. So they want to. You're playing as Yuffie. Everything's tied to Yuffie. But if it's a secret location, let me figure it out. Like, make it be like Final Fantasy 15. God, that secret dungeon was amazing. Like, just change it up a little bit. And anyways, so that's my hope for part 3 with traversal. I also hope that they speed up the climbing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about
answer that, but it's just too slow. Like, there's no reason for it. There's no.
Yeah, I don't really see any reason for it because it's not like a loading thing. It's not like anything like that. I mean, let's just like have the characters get up these walls faster.
These vertical bars in every dungeon.
Let them climb these. Or let them climb faster. They're pretty good at what they do.
Why should she sit on the bench like that? I'm sorry. I did anytime.
Every time when she jumps on the bench, and then you get that sound effect.
Jump on
I'm just like broken butt, bro.
Like, yeah, dude. Like every time she does that, my ass hurts. I can't lie. She goes to take a seat. That's what I hear every time.
That is a hard wooden bench, and you just go, my God. Here, break a tailbone.
Anytime I can point out Yuffie being a weird child, I love doing it.
All right, so we're going to fast forward a little bit throughout this dungeon because I feel like we talked about it pretty good. We get to the Giga Trice. Now, Wiley, you had this as your best battle this chapter, the Giga Trice. Why is that?
Here's the thing. So both of these boss battles are like aerial combat, but in this fight, I feel like you're just way better equipped. You have Barrett and you have Yuffie, and it's more fun. Like there's stuff in it that reminds me of the Terror of the Deep with the tornadoes and all that kind of stuff. But I felt like this one took a little bit more thought too. I felt like the Valkyrie was just really easy. You know,
hard with lightning it up a little bit, but yeah. Arrow actually, Arrow was.
It's I think it's both actually.
Both,
lightning
yeah.
and Arrow's weak to- yeah.
Both fights are fun. I feel like it's funny you say this did remind me of Terror of the Deep too. I just found this one personally easier than Terror of the Deep. I think it's because of Yuffie. And I don't know if we're ever going to talk about it, but Yuffie's just overpowered.
Oh god,
Yuffie, almost too overpowered. I hope part 3
booty pump
tones her back a bit. Because
how about just lift everybody else up? Like, let's not tone her back.
Because I'll be honest with you, I
tools
don't
into the
use Yuffie in my party, but anytime all right, so future spoiler territory, the Gilgamesh Island thing. When I was struggling with that the first time, I just got to throw Yuffie in.
Oh, dude, Yuffie all the way, man.
Yuffie in those fights was like a huge carry throughout I honestly think she's either second best or probably just the best party member you could have. And so that's why sure, you can lift everybody else up, but I wouldn't want a party full of Yuffie level beings. I think if anything, I would have more fun if they just perhaps toned her back.
She's got to get toned down, man. She's got to get toned down. I agree.
I think she's just way too... you could tell that in Integrate where she wasn't balanced around a party. This is what Dan, I've talked to you about this with 15, where how Noctis originally was the only playable character, and then they bring in the other 3, and I always thought Prompto in particular is just busted as a party member. I know everybody says Ignis, but to me, Prompto, you could just light up everything and blow it up to hell and back, and to me, it's kind of the same thing with her, where I get the impression that you had a character who initially wasn't balanced, because her first playable debut was not balanced around a party. You really just played as her in Sona, and you didn't even play as Sona, you just kind of commanded him. So it's just playing as her in this game. I feel like you're playing as somebody who just feels way too overtuned.
Hard mode, she's equipped. She's your best character on hard mode because you don't have. She has magic. She has the magic.
I've avoided using her, and I probably because again, I don't want to go too. In fact, actually, it's kind of a positive thing for her, but it's kind of not negative on my experience. But I try to avoid using her unless I'm having a real tough time because
because you feel like it's kind of cheating a little bit.
She's like a cheat character. She carries like crazy.
I will say Aerith is also very powerful once you start using her
I'm
wards
just not
correctly.
Good at her.
Yeah, you start using her wards correctly.
Aerith and Yuffie,
but you guys
crazy.
You guys feel the same way about Red. Yeah. Or I feel the same way about Red. Red, in my opinions,
so that's cool. Everybody feels like their character's a little OP.
Yuffie and Cloud are I feel like inarguably OP. They're kind of just
Yuffie
really good
for sure.
But Red to me is a mainstay. He's my guy because I feel like he just kills in any situation unless it's range. That's where he suffered.
I just want to shout out Centurion, says, you got to go. Thanks for making my workday less of a pain. Enjoy watching every Tuesday. Believe it or not, love to do a live stream collab in the future. Maybe have Centurion on the show one day. Might be interesting. But, nice. Dude, thanks Centurion. I really appreciate that. Now, let's see. Yeah, late game Aerith is unstoppable is what Toolman says. All right, so
I've heard. I just can't use her.
Which is, yeah. Go ahead.
I want to say a couple more things about this boss fight. So, not to pull an Uno reverse card on you specifically, Lee, but East Blue says, felt like a Monster Hunter fight.
He did say that.
Yes, sir.
Dude,
he's like, you know what? Scratch that. It's my favorite.
The stakes are so much higher fighting for Cloud Jr.
Oh, yeah. We're fighting for Cloud Jr. here.
The Monster Hunter thing. It was a toss-up between this and Custom Valkyrie for my favorite fight. I think Custom Valkyrie, just the vibes of that fight I liked more. I liked my party comp more, because this one I felt like was catered too well, kind of to the point that Wiley was saying. But I feel like that dragged it down for me. And that I felt like between Barrett and Yuffie, I could just like steamroll this guy pretty quick. Whereas Custom Valkyrie, I had to think a bit harder on how. I mean, he's more just a wham bam.
Dude,
you just have to kind of keep hitting him.
This boss on hard mode, man, Jesus. Like,
yeah, this boss on hard was
I don't want to be that guy. I didn't feel like. But you know what? Somebody said it's like Monster Hunter, and I have 140 hours in right now. Like maybe he was just too Monster Hunter coded for me.
I will say that I like it, one thing that I'd like for them to, I don't know, carry into part 3, or maybe even like adjust. I like the tornado effect and the pull in. That's cool, but like, all right, we've used the gimmick. Let's not do that. But I do like the area of effect stuff. So like being able, having to run around the battle field is the kind of stuff that I'm really into nowadays. It's like Final Fantasy 14. You get that the area of effect. Hey, it's about to blow up. You're gonna die. But Final Fantasy 16 did that in their Echoes of the Fallen, which is probably the best example of how I want battles to be done, and bring that over and adapt that into a remake. Even like, what was it? Was it the Crab Warden in remake? Where it had like, hey, like the rails were glowing blue, and then like you gotta get off. Yeah, I want more of that, dude. I want more of that. Like, hey, don't stand in this one spot. You better get out of the way. Let that blow up. Come back and attack. I want more of that.
Wow, this guy likes Final Fantasy 14 combat.
I love Final Fantasy 14 combat. with the area of effect stuff.
When it's a boss fight?
I hate the combat though. Like it's weird. Like I'm contradicting myself. I like the area of effect stuff where I'm constantly moving, but I just can't stand
No, as somebody who plays a lot of 14, great boss fights. No, the boss fights are awesome. It's the mob fights where it kind of So but
dude, 16 Echoes of the Fallen, man. Best combat I've played in Final Fantasy in a long time. Like, I mean, like, I love Remake's battle system, so you take that and you bring it into Remake's battle system. But like 16 did boss battles so good, dude. Like 16's Echoes of the Fallen. Oh my god. All right, so that's the
by Gigatrice.
The by Gigatrice. Now, so
Junior.
This is interesting because the Chocobo chick lands on Barrett's head. Is that a callback to Zaz from Final Fantasy 13?
Is this a Chocobo chick? I feel like we got to talk about this because
wait, you're right. My bad. It looks like one.
But
it looks like a Chocobo.
No, it's not a chick because like the mother is like a duck-billed like looking.
Is the platypus eagle? It's like a platypus eagle. It's weird. Whatever the mom is.
What the hell? But like that's a callback to Final Fantasy 13 there. Like that landing 100%. On the head. Now, all right, so it lands on there. Boom, boom, boom. Yuffie and Tifa joke that the chick looks like Cloud, so they name it Cloud Jr.
I love Tifa's it's Cloud, but cute.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's something about that feels so genuinely playful. Because we know she thinks he's cute.
We know she thinks he's cute.
But I think it's just because it doesn't come off like she's. But if Cloud's not here, so let's just dig at him a bit. You know, like the three of us can make fun of him.
If you notice, when she hangs out with Yuffie, she talks trash. Like she was talking trash about Barrett earlier. So like she's like laughing with Yuffie and like so there's like this whole thing. I feel like this vibe where she's just a little bit more playful.
Yeah, and I like that Yuffie and Tifa are getting along so well right now, which is really cool. Like Yuffie just joined the party, so this chapter is doing a great job of bringing Yuffie into the party, integrating her, integrating her into the party.
It's nice for Tifa. I'm just gonna say it's nice for Tifa because she's talked about struggles with making friends. She does have trouble, and so for her to take quickly and kindly to somebody, I think it's pretty cool. Like she's a nice person, but I think that she struggles with like developing.
Oh, they even say that, right? Connection. Like
So I think it's really cool that she's and for somebody like Yuffie who in a lot of ways is not similar to Tifa like at all. They're sort of polar opposites actually. Yuffie's very bubbly and expressive, whereas Tifa's more kind of reserved and calm.
Calm.
Yeah, calm, not energetic, not bombastic and explosive in personality, and a ticking time bomb of teenage girlness. Yeah, like like it's just kind of cool to see Tifa take kindly to somebody.
Yeah, and like she says that at one point, she even talked about like, I wish I could make friends or something as fast as it must be nice or something. I can't remember what moment that was when she said that.
What was that about? She was saying that. Was that it? Wasn't Aerith, right?
I think it was like, I wish I could be like Aerith, like making friends with must be nice or something. So Barrett suggests they take a minecart ride down, and then it seems like something him and Dyne would do years ago, but the memory is bittersweet. And Barrett changes his demeanor right away, which I like that. We're building the next chapter. They lower the drawbridge, and Yuffie checks in with the others. And I like this little exchange between Cloud and Yuffie here. Again, with Yuffie, who we assume or we associate her with just being all materia, not care about anybody else. The first thing she does is ask how Cloud's doing. Like, how you doing? Feeling any better?
Okay.
Whoa.
I gotta interject with something real quick, because this has me concerned, and to a certain degree, on how they're going to handle her in part 3. Because in the original game, when because she's just kind of a jackass in the original game. She, in the original game, she takes your materia when you get near Wutai, and then you kind of gotta deal with that, and you.
I'm gonna do it.
Gotta just get through.
I'm gonna do it.
What are you doing?
I'm dropping the theory right here. I'll clip it out. This is how I believe Yuffie will steal the party's materia. It won't be the party's materia. It's gonna be the huge materia. I believe Yuffie is going to steal the huge materia, bring it back to Wutai, and then that's when you're gonna have to go to Wutai to get that back. It'll be a little bit less of abrasive, like a stealing the party's materia. She's forming these bonds with them, and we're going to see what happens at the end of this game. I doubt that she's going to have it in her heart to take from the party. And plus, the party has measly materia compared to this thing. And we've been building up to it anyway with the foreshadowing of stealing that huge materia. I think Yuffie's going to take one of the huge materia back to Wutai. You have to go back and get that. And then that is something that's like, hey, it's to save the world. And she's like, yeah, but you know what? This will save my country. Like, this is going to save my country. Like, bring back the huge materia could turn the tide of the war.
I think that makes. Oh, sorry, Wiley. You wanna?
Wiley hit the finger.
I'll hit it with one sentence, and then you can jump right back in.
Sure.
I feel like this was already set up an intermission.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Especially if what. Sorry, more than one sentence. Especially if what Scarlet is saying in the scene in this chapter is talking about the Magnus Materia.
Mm-hmm.
Yuffie was already there looking for it.
I think, though, if they do go the original route and somehow, I don't think that if handled correctly, I feel like they could make it work. Like if she's gutted by doing it, because in the original game,
she's going to be torn. She's going to be torn apart, dude. Yeah, but it's going to be less personal than taking the party's personal materia. Like, it's less personal that way, but it is still something that she feels she needs to do to bring this Magnus materia back home, to turn the tide of the war. Like, she has an opportunity to turn the tide of the war, and I feel like coming back to there, back to Wutai, once we go through that whole storyline in Wutai with her, I think at the end she's going to come to the realization, like, shouldn't have done that. We're going to bring it back. We'll bring it back to Cosmo Canyon, and now we're going to space. We're going to do the thing. But I feel like there's going to be a moment while you're collecting all the Magnus materia that she's going to take one and bring it back to Wutai, and that's when we go to Wutai to go get that back.
Will you be disappointed? Both you guys, an open question. Will you be disappointed if she doesn't steal any materia from the party?
Any materia at all? No Magnus materia or anything like that?
Yeah,
I would be. I would be.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an like, here's the thing. You're dealing with an optional character here, right? So really, looking at her character in the original, they gave her a lot of side content, no doubt. But this is like I feel like the most integral part to her character development in the original game is the whole Wu-Tai side quest of like going near Wu-Tai, getting all your materia robbed from you, learning more about her past, saving her, her dealing with her father. Like that all
it's gonna be a lot, dude.
And it's a catalyst. Yeah. The catalyst of it is her stealing the materia, which is very annoying. And so it's kind of funny about that in the original game is that like if you have that happen, you don't even want to deal with it, you have to rectify the situation. You can't just turn away because she'll just steal more of your materia, which I could not see her doing in this game. You know, like in the original game, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys know this, but if she steals your materia and you leave Wu-Tai and you go continue on and say you found like new materia, she just drops in from nowhere and steals your materia. So that you have to come do it. Yeah. Right. Like, I don't see Yuffie being, like, such a shitbird in part 3, like, doing that type of stuff. But I worry sometimes because, like, I mean, Dan, I think your huge materia theory makes a lot of sense, and I could totally see that happening. I still veer towards it being the parties, because I feel like they still need to... Like, don't get me wrong, the huge materia, that would be bothersome.
It's more significant than just
it's more significant, but it's less personal. Yeah. And I feel like the personal factor is what's going to make it more gutting.
Wily.
And that's going to drive them.
That's what you just said. That's where I'm going with this. So check this out. What if... So we know that there has to be a big reason to go to Wu-Tai. You know, we already got the idea. She steals the materia, goes there. You got to track her down. What if something happens that makes Yuffie feel as though the party betrayed her with this whole war and how things happen? And so she does that feeling like she's alone. And so not only are you going back to get your materia, you actually have to earn her trust back. So it's
what's one big thing that does make you feel like that way? I don't know, Cloud handing the black materia over to Sephiroth and causing the end of the world might make her feel a little bit betrayed or whatever, but...
there's a lot of opportunity just with the Wu-Tai war in general. There's huge opportunity to really make her feel betrayed by the party, feel alone, and so that she could be totally justified in stealing all the party stuff. I mean,
hey,
I was to say, if part 3 really pushes this Wu-Tai Shinra war narrative deeper... There's got to be a point where it's like, what is she going to value more? Her mission and her duty to her nation, or her newfound friends?
Exactly. And I think that's an interesting narrative. That makes it so interesting for her. And like her character becomes so much more interesting than it was in the original of her just stealing the party's materia. Now she's torn because let's just say a scenario, they're going to fire the Sister Ray at Wu-Tai.
Yep.
They're going to drop a nuke on your freaking country. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to do whatever it takes. You're going to steal the huge materia, the Magnus materia.
Or even if you wanted to keep it with the personal one, she finds out that like Shinra's invading, or that they're on the defensive. Whatever, whether it's the personal materia and she's trying to supply her people, or if it's the huge materia as the means of protecting the nation at large. I can see, to me, there's no way that you can do her character justice in the re-trilogy without tackling her stealing the materia from the party. Yeah. It's got to happen in some fashion. So
Major Trenton saying, I'd also like say how they looked at look at how they handled Kate Sith's betrayal in the game and imagine how they can make Yuffie's betrayal to make it fit better. And I really do think that is what's going to happen. I mean, like Lee, you talked about it a little bit. She's not going to be just swiping the materia like all goofy like until you come to Wu-Tai. It's going to have some very like emotional resonance here, like something that's going to be so impactful. Difference.
Because in the original game, it's very goofy almost. It does end on a serious note for her character, but the whole situation's almost like comical when it first happens.
Exactly.
You go in and you're like, wait, my materia's gone. You can't leave and get more without her.
It's an inconvenience.
Right. It's like if you were really invested, and I forgot when it happened to me in my original playthrough, but I do remember thinking, God, I hate you. Like, I was so done with her because I wanted to just get the hell out.
Right. And
like,
we don't hate her in this game. Like this chapter has done such a great job of making us not hate her. And if you haven't played Intermission, of course, but like, I think that's why it's all relevant to the conversation and like what we're talking about, like how we went all the way to the future memories. But this chapter is doing a great job of the foreshadowing that I do believe that she's going to steal materia. They're foreshadowing it like crazy. She's all about materia. We start this chapter with her eyeballing the party's materia. We start this, or we keep on going through the chapter where she's like, oh, no materia. I mean, robe guys. And then like we're definitely building towards that. She's really holds this materia, and like the highest of priority, but we don't really know why in Rebirth. Like I don't think we know why yet. But we can kind of put the pieces together when she starts talking about her history with Shinra and what's going on. But I think that makes the narrative so much more interesting. Her character is so much more interesting when we put her being torn apart by, hey, protect your country, but you have to steal from your friends, or you have to take the Magnus Materia in order to do it. But like to move on, if that's okay with you, gentlemen. All right, so all right. So, where are we going from here? Where do we go from here?
We're going downhill, baby, on a minecart.
That's right.
We're going down. It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill from here. Like
in a fun way. Like in a. Oh, Wiley, did you not have fun?
No, I'm just trying to work out how downhill in a fun way, how that works.
Yeah.
Dude, they're gonna show you when you're
I'm a big
mine.
fan of
He waited for the opportune moment this time. Yes, the shirt reveal was great. Mine.
Mine?
So mine. This and the shared laugh that she had with Tifa regarding Cloud Jr. and then like Yuffie asking, hey, how are you doing? Are you feeling any better? Again, the connections that really formed her and between her and the party are really forming here. She genuinely cares for the crew, which is interesting. That's what we just talked about. So the player is given a choice to give Barrett an exciting minecart ride down or take it easy for Yuffie's sake. What did you guys choose?
Oh, dude, I went Barrett rat.
Of course, all day. All
Easy.
day.
Yeah.
It was so hard for me to make that choice, even after I had already seen the Barrett route multiple times.
I was
see it again.
It's like, yo, Barrett needs this, man. Barrett needs this. That's what I kept thinking.
I regret to inform you guys, I did the Yuffie route, this current playthrough, only because...
Just as you wanted to see.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't even want to see it. I just needed my relationship up with her.
I knew it.
So, I just needed my relationship up with her. I was like, all right, well, I guess it's now or never. Like I said, this is one of my least played chapters to begin with. So I was like, all right, if I'm not doing it now, I don't know when.
So, by the way, it's gonna be exciting because next chapter is my first chapter I haven't done on hard mode yet. So like, yeah, man, I'm making my way through this again now. So like, I've been playing every chapter and I've already done them on hard mode, but now next chapter, I continue my hard mode playthrough.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, so like, of course we chose Barrett. Barrett needed this, man. But I like how Red and Aerith kind of chat about how cats and dogs can sense things in their paws that humans cannot. And Red says he's far more superior than a mere pet.
I love that. I love that so much. Where he's just, dude, you combine that with the side quest thing too, which we can talk about when we get into the side quest.
Oh, well, bring it back to the side quest in chapter 2 about Red's nose versus the chocobo.
Well, no, I'm talking about the side quest in this chapter because with Aerith and Cloud's like date for the bathing suit side quest, the lady's just like, oh, you guys can't do the mini game, but your pet can, and he's being referred to as a pet. Yeah, they're always throwing it back to him being a pet. And I love the banter in this conversation, and I specifically love that Aerith is so pushy about like, oh, I want to feel like the pads on his feet. And then Cloud's even like, I mean, yeah, I would too.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, man. Like,
I feel personally like this game. I love Cloud and Red's relationship in this game so much.
Yeah,
it's one of my personal. I mean, Red with everybody. That as a big fan of Red in general, like this is a huge service to him in this game. But I love it's almost brotherly, him and Cloud, in a lot of ways. Like they just sort of like they're equally as supportive as much as they like rib on each other at times.
Yeah,
they do it later in the chapter where Red is admits that Cloud smells bad, even though he says, well, not like literal shit, just you do smell like shit. Like I love their kind of just weird brotherly relationship. It's cool. I like it a lot. So this banter was fun.
They joke about giving the foot massage. All right, so
these two are always joking about freaking massages, Aerith and Cloud. Well, more so Aerith, always bringing up the hand massages and stuff. So
I thought about that too.
You can never forget your first time at Madame M's. You can't forget. You can't forget that. All right, so listen, let's talk a little bit about the minecart ride here, because my personal opinion, okay, it's an opinion, okay, it's a thought and an opinion.
I have an opinion.
I was waiting.
It's a thought and an opinion. Listen,
let's hear it.
This is where I'm like, yo, this could have been better. All right, so like, I enjoyed this riding down the rails. I enjoyed shooting boxes, but let's add some stakes to it. All right, let's not just shoot boxes. We've shot so many boxes. We've thrown shurikens through boxes. We've done so much with the boxes. But you know what we just fought? A Gigatrice. And what happened?
Gigatrice goes
bring him back.
It
trying
flew
to get
away.
Cloud Jr. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
They're going down the minecart to get the Cloud. You already put it together. You already put it together. Can you imagine going down the hill and like there's moments here like as you're going down the hill where like maybe it just like bursts in and like you got this really cool action set piece like brrr, you're shooting the Gigatrice and then it flies away after it gets shot in the face. You come back down, boom. You could do some set piece here. Some set piece work.
You could. I think that the reason they didn't do this is because we are going to get a Barrett set piece shooter later.
Give it to me. Give it to me more.
I know. I know what you're saying.
Twice.
I don't know. Like
twice is nice. You know what I mean? Like,
what about Gigatrice, bro?
Yo, throw a trice. Throw a trice.
But okay. I'll throw my thought on this. I think that this was fun.
Yeah.
I just find it weird. Like I don't really get what the.
It's just a fun little thing.
Sometimes you just turn your brain off. It's like, there's no narrative implication. This is where I feel like, though, that the only thing I have an issue with during this scene is Tifa's, like, weird, just, like, silence and presence here.
Hey, man, they're just...
If anything, you could have just had her... Literally, if you wanted her to like be more involved in this, could have just been like, "Hey, Barrett, how many boxes can you shoot?" Like,
say
why
something.
Is he doing this? Like, give her the reason to set this up. Like, "Hey, Barrett, want to spice up this ride a bit?" And then just shoot this, and then have her say like, "Wow, nice shot," or "Ugh," like if he's missing and whatnot. Like, just something, because I feel like she was like stiff as a board here.
Narratively, okay, go ahead, Wiley.
I was gonna say it just occurred to me.
Yeah.
This is a throwback to the OG. This is the Speed Square box shooter roller coaster.
Yeah.
Which is not in Rebirth. So I think that's what it is. 100%.
Huh? Like a little throwback to I like that.
Yeah, it's just
I hate you, Cloud.
It's just a throwback to the mini game from the Gold Saucer and OG.
Go on,
not react.
I know she doesn't react.
No, like that's my one. I like this part. I just my only two gripes were I find it weird that Barrett of all people, right? Because he's about to go to the place he's been dreading for chapters on end. So like him just shooting boxes is kind of random. I just feel like
random.
You just have Tifa like lighten him. Maybe he goes in and like because she's noticed he's been pissed. She's like, "Hey Barrett, like." Want to make this ride more interesting, or like just have her, because that's kind of in character for her. Have her incentivize him to. Oh, dude,
I like the way you said that, bro. I just like the way you said it. I just like the way you said it. I just like the way you said it. I like the way you said.
Have him.
I like
Have
what he
her
said.
just be slightly more involved. You know, Yuffie's throwing the shuriken, he's shooting. Just have her hyping them up or something.
Yes,
That would have
agreed.
been the only thing that, like, it would have made the weird random box mini
Mm-hmm.
game. Like, as a player, I appreciate it because it gives me something to do
Yeah.
during this segment. So, like, that's fun. But just like I'm kind of thinking about it, I'm like, why is he doing this? I can see
Give
Yuffie.
us some story hooks.
I'll bring it
Some
in.
story hook.
Little story thing. He did mention at the top, like, Dine and I would, and then he stopped. Maybe this is what him and Dine would do. They'd go down, they would just shoot boxes and have like a little competition who could shoot the most boxes, or like just like let's have some
with
fun.
what, like an actual gun? Because
with an actual thing,
because
because they didn't have the
guns
arm.
yet.
Yeah, that's true. They were just shooting
yeah, like
little target practice as they go down. I don't know. Man. I'm trying to make it work
They
here.
had hands at this point, so
We'd be like, bow, 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 bow. Like
Bigger
Iron
guys.
Man. Yeah. Pew, 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 pew.
yeah, they're role playing Iron Man and War Machine. Like they're just like just shooting everything going down the map. Yeah, like what the hell? I just think it's I don't know. This would have been cool. Again, really fun. I like it. Player engagement's always nice. Just why is Tifa like just like look
Just
at her?
not doing
Even in
anything.
this cutscene, she's just
She
like
was protecting
Yeah.
Cloud Jr., bro.
She's like, yeah,
That's all it
whatever,
was.
no, but Barrett was. He was in
Yeah,
Barrett's
he
coat.
put it in Barrett's
He was
coat,
Barrett's
yeah.
jacket. She's just there. Like, listen, this game's done a lot of favors for not favors. I mean, she's already a great character, but it's done.
Oh,
a
I
lot
like how it
for
swoops
her.
around her when she say, "I'm seeing stars," and it swoops around her.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just would have been nice, but yeah, Cloud Junior's cool.
There's some things that could have been done there, but overall, what we got was still fun. It was still
I had
a good
fun
time.
with
No complaints. Just more of like hey, this could have been something else.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't have an issue with it. I just think that it would have just made it make a bit more sense
Mm-hmm.
narratively. Sometimes when the mini games come in and or whatever, I sort of just have to accept like, hey,
Yeah,
it's a video
I
game.
love to you turn your head,
brain off,
turn brain
just
off. It's Final
shoot the
Fantasy
box.
VII. Yeah, it's Final
Yeah,
Fantasy VII.
like-
I love that stuff.
brain off, shoot
Alright.
box, but yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I can offer something for you here.
Bring it.
It's
All right, bring it
it's thin, okay?
Okay.
This is
Okay.
This is Barrett and Yuffie playing together.
All right. No, we go back to the father-daughter like kind of
Yeah.
sort of relationship they're having.
Yuffie's gonna break boxes as she's going down the minecart, so Barrett's gonna go, all right.
Barrett's trying to take her mind off of being sick.
Show the young blood how it's done, right?
Oh, or
It's
take her
sad.
mind off of being
I hate-
nauseous. You know, being
I hate to-
motion sickness.
I hate to cook reverse you here, but no. But
Oh,
Barrett
reverse
shoots first.
cook.
No,
Barrett
Barrett
shoots
shoots first. Like he shoots first, and then you get the.
Well, he's encouraging her
Yeah,
to.
He's
Same
encouraging-
thing.
I mean, he did
Okay.
tell Cloud. He was like, the first thing he suggests was like, "Hey, we don't want anybody losing their lunch. I would prefer some excitement, but you can make it easy on us."
Yeah, okay, that's
So
that's
maybe
fair.
he's just trying to take her mind. I mean, Tifa ain't
Blow
doing
off
it.
some
No, I'm just
steam.
kidding. All right, let's move
Blow
on.
off some
Let's
steam,
move
I
on. Let's move on.
All right, where's his train?
So yeah, look. Like when you look over to the right, and this person, I think this player will do that, but you run into the train tracks just coming to an end. But one thing I will say, maybe it's off in a different direction, the train tracks, but it really does seem like.
I gotta walk around Corell and see if I can find.
Yeah, I'll break the
track
camera.
going in.
Ooh.
Oh, I need you to break, dude. We'll talk about this on a side quest, but I need you to break the camera later for me. Like,
Okay. I'll see what I can
we'll
do.
We'll talk about it when we get there. But boy, do I need you to break the camera because I'm pissed now.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
We gotta
later.
look at that boiler from every angle.
Yeah, we'll get there though.
All right, so this is actually a good moment. I like this. So we get to Corell. This is a bittersweet, or not a bittersweet. This is a bitter homecoming for Barrett. It is my best rebirth award. I think this is done so well here. I love they pour the drink, a hero's welcome. Oh man, they're treating him like crap. Again, Yuffie of all people stepping in like, yo, back off. So that was like Yuffie sticking up for Barrett just now after, Barrett helped her out on the minecart, taking her mind off of it. What I saw somebody go finger up. Somebody know we got anything to say so far? Because I'm just gonna.
No,
kind of
I'm gonna
roll.
say I'm gonna change this to my best rebirth too.
Absolutely. Gotcha.
Yeah, because this
my best rebirth is sort of played into this anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll go over that later. But wait, can you restart the scene for a second? I just wanted to check something. Like when they walk into town, I just want to see something. Because I feel like I remembered something, but I just wanted to make sure that before I make a point about this, that I'm not incorrect. I'm looking at Barrett and Cloud for a sec.
East Blue Drew, I didn't forget
oh.
about the big nest. The chick, that is definitely a callback to the original game, the Cloud Jr. thing.
Man, what is Barrett? Okay. No, I want to talk about this for a second because I've seen people criticize this scene and specifically the party members besides Yuffie. Because Yuffie's so adamantly like defensive over Barrett, somebody who she really just sort of met.
Right.
And people have criticized, I've noticed, that Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, none of them do anything.
I mean, I'm not criticizing it.
I don't think. No, I'm not saying you guys. Like, I've seen people talk badly about them during the scene.
Really?
First of all, yeah. And I always thought it was weird because the first thing Barrett does when they walk into town is he blocks Cloud. He actually and I think that the rest of the part, I love that subtle little detail because I feel like this shows his trust and the mutual trust between him and the rest of the party.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the party knows him at the point right now where, yeah, this sucks. They don't want to see him being mistreated like this.
Right.
But they know that if he feels he can take it, he can take it.
They're respecting him. Yeah, they're respecting.
They're respecting that this is something he needs to just embrace on his own. Now, Yuffie, on the other hand, doesn't know him.
Right.
And is also a very passionate, prideful youth. So I think seeing this just strikes a nerve with her. So the fact that she's the only one to stick up, and even he's just like, don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a really cool, I like scenes that show off the synergy of the party at large, and this is one that shows off where the party's at right now in relation to Barrett. You could tell who trusts him, who gets him, who's most concerned about. Like Tifa's obviously the most concerned about him, and has been throughout this chapter. Basically, constantly trying to make sure he's okay, check on him. So. Yeah. That's why I wanted to see the detail, because I remembered him blocking Cloud, but I just wanted to make sure that I actually remembered that correctly, because, I've seen some people say, oh, why didn't they step up and help Barrett?
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was the party kind of respecting that, like Barrett's kind of silent, didn't have to say it, but an understanding there, like, this is my thing I have to deal with right now. My burden, right. Exactly. So yeah, we're gonna I don't know what this player's gonna do, but we're gonna go to Dr. Sheeran now, because we get a little bit of backstory with Tifa and how she was fixed up by the doctor here in Corell, and Cloud sees Sephiroth when he walks in, and he goes for the kill. But Barrett blocks the attack with his gun arm.
Hell yeah, he does.
Come on, baby. Come on, that was tight. I was another nominee. That was good. I love that he blocks it with a gun arm. Now, because it is a robed man and not Sephiroth, in this situation, that's why Barrett blocks the attack. Now, I think it's getting easier for me, at least, to discern which of these robes are actually Jenova, not Sephiroth. The way that Sephiroth is talking here, there's almost a certain like cadence to the way he's talking that I'm like, yo, this is not the Sephiroth that we see in certain where he just knows everything. I feel like this is a Sephiroth where he's just kind of like, this is a Jenova Sephiroth illusion here. So because I feel like that Sephiroth, like the omnipotent Sephiroth that knows everything. He's got like a more of a confident and just he knows what he's doing. Almost respectful, almost. But Dr. Sheeran seems to be the only person in this town who doesn't hate Barrett. He makes note of Barrett's scary-looking appendage. Yeah, that's a frightening appendage you got there. He remembers Tifa, of course. He says to thank Shinra for the helicopter, which is very interesting. Not all apples are rotten in that bunch. Now, he says something that I think is a powerful line. You are living proof of the good in people.
Yeah.
That is like looking, and don't ever forget that. Like the way he says it, looks right at Tifa and says that. I just feel it's so good, man. She's proof of the good in Shinra that helped save her life. Like there's good in Shinra. She's proof of the good in Rude, a Turk who just, despite his orders to kill, did not kill her at the plate. He decided to drop a whole plate on her instead. But that's not him. That's not his doing. He didn't do that. Like he could have shot her.
Sent for the helicopter?
Yeah. What's up? Yeah.
No, I was like, do you think Rude sent for the helicopter?
Yeah, he was just there, but like he's like, I'm not going to shoot her, but I'm going to drop a plate, okay?
Oh no, I'm making a joke about the helicopter that brought her to to help her. I'm like, you think Rude sent for that copter?
You know what? I was honestly thinking it was maybe Rude that even flew her to get help.
I don't know if they would have.
Interesting.
I guess maybe they might have met. I guess didn't Song and Tiff?
That's when it all started.
Yeah, so
it all started.
Okay, and she's proof of.
I'm just making that up.
She's proof of the good in the doctor who fixed her up. She's proof of the good in Barrett and his avalanche cell. She's proof of the good in Cloud, which is going to be important later on in this story. So what a line! What a line,
dude,
man!
This doctor though.
Dr. Sheeran.
What a G. He's a dude.
He's your best birth. The birth of Dr. Sheeran was your favorite.
So technically not a birth because he was in Traces of Two Paths, but as far as like getting a visual look for him and seeing him come to life, like this is when we truly get to see the character as himself. So yeah, it was my best birth. Dude is such a G. If you listen to some of the NPC dialogue around this guy, you find out that I think I wrote it down here. Where did I? Doc is feeding the town and providing supplements.
Yeah, that's an NPC.
He's just NPC says like that he's feeding them out of and supplementing the food so that it's a better quality, keeping people healthier. You also learn that he lost his family in the incident at Corell, I believe, because he was here, not near the reactor that blew up. So his family passed away. I think is the implication that you get from one of the NPCs as well. And it's just the fact, again, you said it before, he's the only person in this town who treats Barrett with like any respect. And it's not even like a cordial respect. He seems like he actually just
is a good guy with him. Like a good guy.
Yeah. And he obviously speaks highly of Tifa. And if you do the side quest later, he's one of the only NPCs who treats Red as a person.
Yeah.
And when we get in, I think we're actually about to get into the side quest because once you're done talking to him, I think you can take up the side quest. So I don't know if we're jumping into. Yeah,
that's next on the list. So yeah, it's side quest time is literally the next thing I say.
It's side quest.
It's side quest time. So we can start with his side quest if you want to, or we can.
Do you want to reverse?
Yeah.
No, like I mean, if we're here and we're talking about Sheeran,
right.
Yeah. I don't mind. If anything, this is my personal best side quest. The one with Red here. So I don't mind jumping straight into this, and then we could go back into the earlier part of the chapter if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah. So this footage that we're seeing here for the side quest is going to be coming from Lord Fenton Gaming. Lord Fenton Gaming. So there you go.
So yeah, I guess to segue right into my point. The way he talks to Red here, it's not demeaning. It's not like he's a pet. It's not, he just says, wow, you got a good nose on. And he's just talking to him. And what's interesting is that, because this is somewhat similar to that side quest in chapter 2.
And he butters him up too. One finer than any human could possess. Yeah.
Right. But what does that do for Red? It imbues him with confidence. Yeah. And he just, and Cloud even makes a joke about it. He's like, wow, that was easy. He just jumps into wanting to help out with this immediately. Somebody validated him. And again, I know that I talk about this guy's nose a lot, but I think this, nose, man. I think that this rounds out. I don't know if they're gonna continue with it, but this is the point where it seems like he's back to where he should be. He's back to being able to, sniff out things properly. He's, I think he's maybe not completely restored, but he's confident in his ability again. And so with Doc Sheeran here, saying, wow, what you've got there is great. You could help me out. He's not talking to him like he's like, oh, wow, nice dog you got there. You think like that guy in chapter 2. Oh, yeah, he basically talked about Red like he was a hunting hound. This guy's talking to him like he's a person, which is crazy. And it speaks a lot to Sheeran's character because, we all love Red, but yeah, dude, he looks like a talking dog.
There is something you're on to something there. I mean, even this guy goes, "This is people food," and then like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
and it immediately. That's what I like about this quest too, is that once you see this guy, it immediately reverses everything we just saw. We just saw a guy talk to Red in a positive way and reinforce things that he was really insecure about. And so Red was confident, he was happy to help, and he immediately went to the task, putting his nose to good use. Then you come across this guy, and this guy basically says, oh, nice pet you got there. This is people food. Does everything that undermines all that character development, and it makes him upset. So I feel like this is like the big culmination to a lot of what the previous quests involving him were kind of building to his character.
Real quick,
we're seeing...
I'm sorry. I just want to throw this out there while I'm seeing it on screen. I didn't play this chapter or this side quest. I didn't play the whole chapter, man. I'm just winging it, bro.
Play this chapter.
I didn't play this side quest before doing the podcast, but do we figure out why there's glowing purple on the footprints here? Is that like Red's nose sensing the smell?
Sheeran gives you the flash. It's a UVA flashlight.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
So the flashlight's able to track the robes, I guess. Because like I think it reacts. That's like their foot. Yeah.
I mean, purple's a Genova link anyway. So
that's what I was wondering. I was like, are they bleeding?
It's on brand.
Yeah.
So they got the wet feet.
They got them wet feet, bro. They take like 5 steps and then they like hop really far because like, step. Whee! They just jump, man, because the footprints it.
We did pass over it, but I just want at least 3 feet. I like the banter of Cloud and Red walking up into the mine, them talking. Again, Cloud's talking to him about his nose, and he asks him, he's like, oh, so what do I smell like? And what does Red say? He says something like somebody who's faced a lot of battles. And he's like, oh, so blood and shit. And Red goes, no, not like literal shit.
But no,
I don't know. I really enjoy the banter between the two, but I will say this quest ends kind of in a confusing place for me.
Well, it definitely is that character or like the foreshadowing for like 1,000% with Cloud, right? Is that what you're
definitely? Yeah. But what confuses me is how they go about it. So these two are revealed to be the kidnappers. These two little dopes,
Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah.
Yep. They steal the robe. They're trying to get it for a ransom. Dan left. He got kidnapped by these two, and hopefully we see him again. But anyway, so what confuses me though is after you defeat the Deathclaw. What was his name again? I had their names written down. I can't see because it's blurry on my screen. But anyway,
it doesn't show his name right there. It's just got question marks.
Okay, well, my notes are a little all over the place, but
I don't remember it either.
Point is that when they catch on to the fact that Cloud has soldier eyes, they push the robe at him and taunt him, and they're like, oh yeah, like, hang out with your butt. Like, why do they know where this is going for Cloud? How do because they seem more knowledgeable than other people we've seen up to this point. I don't get, like, again, if somebody has insight as to why these two might have more knowledge on this, I just find it kind of bizarre that, these the Temu Team Rocket here knows more about soldier degradation than somebody like Doc Sheeran, who, when asked about, Cloud was talking about what they had to say, and I think he says something to the effect of, oh yeah, with your blood, maybe we can get more of a conclusive answer. I think Sheeran is under the impression that, soldiers might have something to do with it, but unlike these two who seem to have it pretty much nailed, like they know, oh yeah, this is where you're heading, buddy. So I know Wiley, you didn't play this quest either for your run,
Nah,
right?
this I literally just this is the last thing. I didn't have time to replay this quest.
Just
The
I don't
best
know. It's
the best
weird.
thought I have here is just so if they are you know, kidnapping these dudes, maybe they've overheard them say things or they just observe different things, but you wouldn't think that they would have any knowledge that the doc didn't have, right? Like that.
Right, like that's the part
So-
that confuses me.
I don't have a good explanation for it.
Ooh, somebody, yeah. Wait, I see. I thought they were just old scientists. That could. I don't know. Like it also for. This is where like the criminals and stuff in this game, they're all kind of schmucks.
Whoa.
How do you call yourself the world's greatest criminal and then get matching tattoos on your face? You take your most identifiable
Hell yeah.
features.
I
then
wasn't gonna
mark
say
them
it.
even more extensively.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, if
They're
they
that
were
good, bro.
scientists, then they
They're
ain't
that
smart.
good. Also, you didn't
That's
mention
confidence.
like how the heck do these guys just have a fiend on hand, like on command? Like I'm commanding a fiend. Like I can
Oh,
tell.
that's a Square Enix moment. I don't think too hard on where they got the fiend from. I'm more concerned about the narrative implications.
Deathclaw though was cool to
Because-
see because that was,
Oh, it was cool.
yeah, seeing that come back, and like even especially if you played Crisis Core, like there were a ton of
what I
those
was
lately. So cool to see that. Now the Bonnie and Clyde thing, this is how it kind of ends, as it's very, very heavily like it's like boo, even reunion points at Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what did she say here? It's a little blurry.
he's
like
a
on
soldier.
Right, and what
Barry
is, this is where
Barry says, no wonder he wiped the floor with that monster. But time ain't on his side. Even the strongest ones don't stay strong for long. Sooner or later, he'll wind up all like all the rest, another mumbling hooded freak. Now,
Yeah, dude,
they-
he basically just tells them.
if
that's
he is,
that's an info dump right there, bro.
well, I mean, like
In a side
Dr.
quest.
Sheeran says that, right? Dr. Sheeran
No,
said
if
he
I
says
recall-
my assumption is that they are all soldiers suffering from cellular degradation.
Does
So
he
like
say that? Because
he does say
didn't
that straight
recall,
up
but
says
okay.
that. Yeah. So like if these guys are like Corell residents, then or in some way, then they probably know that much at least.
Yeah,
Is this
they
common
probably
knowledge?
like lab assistants for Doc or something.
We also get
Okay.
that information from Rufus in like remake, like before
No,
the
we've been
Airbuster
getting-
fight. Yeah, so like,
We've been getting it spoon-fed here and there, but
and wasn't that broadcast live? I don't remember, but I feel like some of it was broadcast live. Like you're just you'll have a cellular degradation, but no, I don't think they would put that bad publicity out there. But anyways, that's the end of that one, right? Like that's the end of this. And then like he's kind of like embracing that robed figure there for a bit. That was interesting. We're gonna take him back to Ed Sheeran, and we're going to
Dr. Ed Sheeran.
Dr. Ed Sheeran. Glad to see you two made it out. We're doing great. Save for a few scraps, none worse for the wear. Now we're gonna kind of blow through these, unless you guys have some deep, like Kyrie mercenary for higher level, like freaking analysis here. But let's go back because there's only
do a quick breakdown.
yeah, quick breakdowns here.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't have too
Yeah.
much really
So,
on
So we did a Robe Men and
Alright.
Ransoms. I really like that one, by the way. I think that one was a
Yeah.
really good quest. It might be
Right.
my. I
It's
love
also the most
blanket banter.
engaging.
Yeah,
it's like a mini dungeon.
It's definitely a little
Uh,
story too.
Yeah, there's a mini dungeon. You get more lore.
Yeah.
You get a cool character moment with Red and Cloud.
We're
Yeah,
gonna.
that's my biggest pro is this is probably Red's best side quest piece so far.
Yeah. And we're gonna go to this one, the saga, the saga of the Seaside Inn. Now this one has you accompanied by Yuffie in this one. Do you guys remember what we're doing here? Why the companion, and then what does it do for the companion and for the overall world? This is the. I mean, it's
I can
very
think of two reasons why the companion.
For
Okay.
sure. Go ahead, Lee.
I mean, all right. For starters, we just got her, so she needs more character development. So that's point A. Point B is that you have a
That's
second
it right
Johnny.
there.
The multiples.
Of course, her
You
fault,
got
man.
a second Johnny, and this is all her fault.
Yeah.
Yuffie's actually secretly like a sorceress. And she's just created life, and it's not dying. It's just like it's supposed to disappear. And we see this with how many more Johnnies at least? Like there's like 6 of them now.
At least 3.
At least 3 Johnnies, right? And so what we gathered here is not only is she OP in combat, she's also potentially like Donald Duck levels of magic user. Like she's
The next one to use
insane.
Cetra Flare.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I feel like this one's pretty straightforward in why the partner. You know, I don't think that there's too much more in depth here on that front. It's just like, hey, she's responsible for this problem, so go fix it.
And Mr. Bigglesworth brings up a great point. We knew about this like covers about what 75% of the
yeah, it's about 75%.
That's what you said earlier. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like we're not going to go all the way to the end of this because that would have changed my best battle. But it's not. We're not doing it. We're only covering.
Your best battle.
It did. Hey, no,
Hey,
hey,
stream talk.
hey. No,
Don't cross the streams.
I was like, oh, that's not a chapter 7 thing, huh? All right, so don't cross streams. Oh, we crossing streams now. Oh, that's good. That's like future memories evolved. All right, so listen, we're just gonna get right to the point where I'm gonna give the floor to Lee here, okay? The Dragoon
right,
King,
Lee.
our resident
Not the
boiler
way.
technician, has an issue, and I'm gonna give you the floor, man. All right, I'm gonna give you a good couple minutes.
That's fine.
Right,
I don't need more than that.
Okay, take it away, bro.
Just a quick little piece of context here, guys. I am a boiler technician. Okay, I work on boilers, and I remember, this game came out. It was during my peak season, winter. That's when I work the most. I'm working on helping people get their heat back and all that good stuff. So imagine me after a long 12-hour shift of work, and I come home to play my game of the year so far, and the first thing that I do is pop in and play this side quest. And what does this jackass want me to do? Fix his damn boiler. And I was pissed. I was like, bro, I don't want to do that. I just got off of work. I don't want to come here and fix your damn boiler, okay? Listen, I love this game, and I love all the great side content it provides, but this quest sucks for me. I'm sure a lot of people enjoy it. Like, I mean, it for a lot of people, I'm sure it's great. For me, I hated it because you made me do work. And not to mention, the transmuted boiler valve. Now, I don't know Old Republic technology, but I don't know what the hell that valve does, man. Like, I'm looking at that valve, and it just makes no damn sense. It's like a pressure and temperature mixer, and it has one handle on it. That's not how boiler valves work. There's not even a thing as a boiler valve. It's just a fucking valve that you drain water from. You don't use a valve like that to make it. If anything, you have a feeder valve that takes domestic water off the street, and that applies water pressure, but it doesn't mix with the temperature. You burn the water, and it boils, and then you have hot water, and that's what heats your house. So I don't get what this fuck-ass boiler valve is. I don't get why Johnny needs me to fix it, and this is the final point.
Look at that boiler valve, bro. That's a good That's a boiler valve right there. That's a boiler valve.
No, it ain't. But anyway, so Dan, I need you to break the camera because I sent you a clip, right? And you don't need to put this on stream now. But when he wanted me to fix this damn boiler, I was like, where is it, Johnny? There's no boiler room at his goddamn inn. I don't care what boiler he wants me to fix. There's nothing underneath. You go upstairs. There's 3 bedrooms. There's no boiler room. So what the hell do you want me to fix, bro? You made me make this shit-ass valve. I don't even see the domestic water line going into the building. What do you want me to do? Like, genuinely,
domestic water line going into
Like, what do you want from me? I don't get it. I like this. Now I know I'm in too deep.
No, we're gonna tag Square Enix, and we're gonna make sure that their level designers take note of everything that you just said.
Listen, Square, do you hear me? Next time you make a boiler-related quest, reach out to me.
I don't see a public water line.
Dude, there is none. I don't even see. I don't get it. I don't get his house. I don't get the inn. I don't get what I'm fixing. I don't get what the valve is. I don't get it.
A device used to control both water pressure and temperature in the Republic-made boiler. It says it right there.
I don't. Old Republic water valve. Okay, fine. Now get it. I get that. All right. So hear me out. I understand. I don't know Old Republic technology.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, okay,
know.
Technology works different.
Yeah.
You made a boiler valve. That's great. Yeah. Where's your boiler, Johnny? I don't know where the boiler is. You made me make this fucking valve, and for what? Your non-existent boiler? No wonder why the girls are taking cold showers. You don't even have a boiler.
I was gonna say.
Water.
And that has been the rant by our resident boiler technician, Dragoon King.
This quest picks up when you fight the Tonberry, but in Chapter 7, it made me mad.
Man, I could say that rant got pretty heated.
Yeah.
Not their water, though.
Not their water, though.
Not their water, no.
This isn't regulation, you idiots. It's what Pickles were.
This isn't up to code.
Lee, I think you need a cold shower.
No more boiler quests.
It's your boiling point.
Yeah, Peach Booty says he's bringing the heat. There's nothing watered down about this rant. Oh man, you guys messed with the wrong boiler technician. You shouldn't have done that.
I think it was just the fact that it was.
What were the materials it required to make that? I wonder.
Oh, I don't know. It's like a rock, a stick, and a piece of gum. It made no sense.
It's a MacGyver.
Go ahead and transmute that for me.
It was like, here, break a rock, grab a twig, and chew some gum. Put that together. You got a boiler.
You got a boiler. Is this also when Yuffie? No, this is not when Yuffie made the joke about the multiple Tifas, right? That's the next chapter.
No, that's when you have the buggy.
Yeah, that's right. Oh wait, no wait, the crown. Nope. See, that's not part of Chapter 7. Yeah, so Lord Fenton.
This quest starts in Chapter 7.
Oh, it even says Chapter 9. Like it even says it in the chapter time bar. It says Chapter 9. Anyway, so we'll go here. Okay, we're done with the saga of the Seaside Inn because that was just made for a rant.
Get out of here! Get out of my sight!
Let's go to the rendezvous, Costa del Sol, here as we meet back up with those girls that were with Hojo earlier. You know?
Yeah, apparently they don't like him.
Yeah. Apparently, who knew? Who thought? Wow, that's crazy.
This just in, ladies don't like creepy men. Get out of here, Hojo.
Oh God. Now it was with Aerith. So do we have any analysis on this side quest here with Aerith?
So this is sort of a parallel, a rebirth of remake. So you're going on a date, it's Cloud and Aerith date quest, and Cloud's idea of a date is walking, and Aerith comments like across rooftops, perhaps. There's a callback to remake. And this particular date, you're gathering different things for each of these three ladies right here, and it ends with 3 different outfits, or you could look at it another way, 3 different dresses. And that's also a callback to remake. So this is just a little parallel to remake in that regard. And then, of course, who do you see at the end of this quest? Jules, which you also encounter during that quest line.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just that's all it was for me. It was just sort of a second opportunity for them to, kind of have that little moment. So
yeah, and like you were talking about, like The rooftops. Yeah, the across rooftops. Sure. Nice. Memories. I love that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's awesome. I love that you drew that parallel there with remake. You go back and you do play these mini games. These are different versions of the mini games that we played in the previous chapter. This one, I can't remember. Did the first one judge your accuracy? Because I feel like this one is definitely judging your accuracy.
I don't think the first one judges accuracy.
Yeah.
I think.
You're not penalized for misses until this one.
This one is, you're definitely, you have to be on target here.
Oh yeah.
Centurion.
You kind of go through the first
this
one by just unloading.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I still feel like after watching Centurion's video, I still think Centurion was like hitting every single one of them. It was crazy.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, this one was a lot of fun because it was definitely hard mode. Like this was definitely you brought it up a notch. I wish the controls were just a little bit better, or like at least customizable in a way. But I still had a lot of fun with this mini game. We can rank mini games later, but it's cool to go back and get a different version of the same mini game that we played earlier. I believe that you can even hear Aerith in the background cheering you on while you do that. Like, oh wow, nice shot and stuff like that. Nice one.
What dialogue did you guys get at the end? Because I'll be honest, I only did this one once and I got decent. I didn't bother retrying for the best dialogue. I just sort of went. I wanted to get into the narrative, so I kind of breezed through the side quests at first, especially since I hated one of them. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just get this one done. I got the decent dialogue, and it's funny because she kind of pokes fun at Cloud if you don't get the best outcome. She goes,
Yeah,
I'm a better shot than you.
I should have wrote it down. I did get the best one, but I don't remember what it was.
I got it in my first playthrough. I just don't remember what she says.
Yeah, she teases Cloud. She makes a joke. I feel like she calls him a cad, but the joke comes right before that, and I can't think of what it was.
Here, I was right there.
Super flirty, though. It's very flirty.
Yeah, it's very flirty. Oh, crap.
Resident Evil mentioned. See, so every time somebody mentions Resident Evil in the damn chat.
That's right. Shout out to Resident Evil, man.
Always got that.
Got me right through the heart. I wish I would be able to rewind just a little bit here without skipping the entire game. All right.
That might be the line. It might be right through the heart, you cat, or something like that.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that score. Those are some pro numbers. But what did the lady think? And then she says, "Oh, got me right through the heart. The CAD."
Yeah. That's all it was.
Yeah, and then the secret is to aim for the head, not the heart. Thor.
I felt like that was
for the head.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I got that. I was like, "Is this a reference, man? Is this a reference?"
She never once took her eyes off her man, and the way that she stared at him. She's finding inspiration here.
On the decent dialogue, they say that never took her eyes off her man, but then Aerith says that she has a better aim than Cloud, and then Cloud goes, "I'm better with a sword." I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah. All right, then you head on over here, and I thought this, dude. You know how freaking funny, and probably glad that they didn't do it. But this is kind of a reverse of Chapter 5. Aerith wanted to do the Run Wild game, right? Whereas Red 13 wanted to do the card game, but it's not for humans. And then Aerith wants to do this game, but it's not for reverse that. But come on, man, let's get Aerith coming out in the red. Like, let's get her coming out with an animal outfit. Let's get her coming out with an animal onesie and go out there and do the Run Wild, man. Let's do that happen.
That'd be hilarious. This has like a mascot outfit.
Yeah, just.
From Jackie's journal on this mini game, she says Liam takes way too long on this mini game. Keeps saying, "I'm so goated." Now he is making animal noises. Immersive experience? Question mark.
Oh man. What was your best time on this run?
Jackie's
journal. How many hours did you play it?
No, so here's the thing. On my first playthrough, I know I aced this. Now, on this playthrough, I kept getting way too close. Like, I was like off by like a 0.8 of a second, and I was like, man, I'm gonna keep doing this until I get it right. And then I got like .03 over, and I was like, I'm done with this shit. I'm moving on. I was like, I'll redo it later. I know in my key play, I didn't keep my score for this one, so I don't know what I got in my first playthrough. But I'll tell you right now, with the exception of which we'll get to the crunching minigame later, I've replayed just about every minigame and got the best score in my personal time.
Yeah. I've done the same.
Except for the crunch one. I don't like that one.
Yeah, that was tough, man. I'm not a fan of that either, honestly.
Yeah.
East Blue, you said you played Final Fantasy Rocket League for so long.
It is fun.
Which one of these were your favorite? Between this one and the previous chapters, Run Wild. This one is I can't remember what it's called. Trial Step? Time Trial? Alright, so let me know which one you like the best. We get out of that one. And you were like a red bolt shooting across that field. I wish there was more to dissect here. The three of us should go around sometimes. See, look, Aerith still wants to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you enjoy losing. Oh, look, but I like that. Because that's the theme of the entire game. Binds their friendship, or the relationship, the bonds of friendship, binds their relationship.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can skip ahead a little bit. There's really not much to dissect.
You're gonna skip the most amazing dialogue? No, just when
I was gonna say, what am I missing?
Well, no, Aerith, when you're walking up to the Chocobos, Aerith asks Cloud, because you're doing this to make inspiration for these swimsuits. So she asks Cloud what he would want in a swimsuit, or like what he hopes to get, and he's just like, I saw somebody in the chat go, I love when people rant about nerdy things. Well, Cloud does like a nerdy rant about how he wants his swimsuit to be like utilitarian and battle ready, so he can be efficient at combat underwater. And then Aerith is just like, okay.
Okay.
Okay. You just like, I hope it's like flexible but firm and durable, so that I can, be more effective in underwater combat. And she's just like, oh yeah, all right. Yeah. Also, why does she look like Discount Tifa? I know people criticize this game for a lot of people being Discount Tifas. I know I've seen comparisons about Elena looking kind of Tifa-esque at times in the face, but like Yorda is literally like Teemu Tifa.
The Hojo honey's got it going on, yo. Don't know about you. This is first for me. You've ridden them before. Not talking about chocobos.
The Merc's nervous. I think she says that here or something like that.
All right, so they go finding some shells on the sea. They bring it back. Nothing really too much going on here. Depending on what shells you hand over. Of course, you hand over the gigantic one. And I
think something that's interesting right here. So on the beach, you fight a lot of crabs.
Yeah. Go back to the beach.
Yeah. Well, the crab thing is going to come back around in the next quest that you unlock with this one, and some dialogue between Cloud and Tifa.
Yes.
Which is funny.
You picked. Okay, good. You picked up on that too, because
I did.
All right. So, well, there's a couple things with the crab. I'll say real quick. First of all, Cloud goes on to mention the crabs, or the two halves of the shell, and Aerith goes, oh, I know where this is going. It's a symbol of their love. And then Cloud immediately goes, it can also be an omen of death.
There's the Uno reverse, bro.
Man.
It's just like, oh man, that took a turn, and obviously subtle foreshadowing, of course.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so very subtle.
So but yeah, I want to mention the thing that you said about like how this plays into Tifa's quest, because I feel like the dialogue between Cloud and Aerith and Cloud and Tifa is very different. And with this quest, Aerith is talking to him about like foods, right? And asking him just like, oh, like how do you like food, or your food prepared, whatever. And he just basically says he doesn't really care. And then she says something stupid, like kind of silly. She's like, oh, people who don't care about how their food's prepared can be prone to spontaneous combustion. And he's like, what? But anyway, like, besides her being like a little random girl, it's just interesting because I've said this in other quests before, and I'm looking at this game trying to go in it as unbiased and just objective, right? Mm-hmm. But it feels to me that a lot of the time that when he's talking to Aerith during these quests, he's like putting up more of a front. And the reason I say that is because in the quest with Tifa, they also talk about food. And, you know, with Tifa, unlike with Aerith, where he goes, he's way more nonchalant. Like with Aerith, he puts up a bit of a front. He says, he doesn't really care how his food's prepared. But then when he's talking to Tifa and they're just like going back and forth, first of all, he mentions to Tifa, Tifa mentions something about steaks, and her mentioning steaks immediately made him realize that she was responsible for the menu at Seventh Heaven. So he's picking up on details about her. Then they both talk about crabs, and he lets down the front. He goes, I actually don't really like crabs, because she said that she doesn't like them either.
She don't like them. Yeah,
like
neither of them do.
The dialogue between the two of them is like more open and kind of just honest. With Aerith, not that, you know, I know that they're close and I know that they're but like, I don't know if it's because she annoyed him during that quest with the.
I think he's just trying to be cool, though. I think he wants to impress her.
But at the but like I think he does call her out for being mean to him on that quest, and I think that she teased him a bit too much to a point where he actually was not keen on it. Whereas with Tifa, she's not really one to tease often, and when she does, I feel like he reciprocates it better. Like them on the Shinra 8 is like with Aerith, he almost like talks to her, and it's you know, like he's just like, it'll be your funeral, and like, but with Tifa, they're like more on the same page. It's like, you think you could beat me? No, I can beat you. I could beat you. I don't know, it was just something I picked up because their two quests had a lot of similar dialogue exchanges, but the tones that he was giving out were very different. And that was it. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
So,
and then we move on to a bodybuilders in a bind. This one's with Tifa, and we kind of talked a little bit about it, but it's with Tifa.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, so they do talk about the food, the Seventh Heaven menu. What I would add to what Lee said is, or maybe Lee did say this, so this is a callback to Traces of Two Past. Did you say that?
Yeah, well, I said that because she mentions the steak, and Cloud
the menu
picks up on the fact that, which this is really cool, that just knowing her enough to know that her mentioning a steak was enough for him to piece together that she was a big influence on the menu. And then she lets him know, no, I was only responsible for half of it. But, you know, like, it was just cool to me that just by hearing her talk about steak, he goes, wait a minute, you're the one that came up with the menu at Seventh Heaven? You know, just like a cool piece of chemistry between the two where, you know, it shows that he actually is paying more attention than I feel like we expect from him. Usually we don't think of him as somebody who picks up on small details like that. But what were you saying, Wiley? About Traces of Two Past?
Yeah, no, I mean, so, I mean, basically that was mentioned in that. The only other thing I would really say about Tifa specifically in this quest line, I guess there's two things. The first is that, so this idea of Tifa sort of trying to figure out what kind of food Cloud likes carries forward. So we're going to see that again, future memories in one of the personal interactions you get with her, I believe in chapter 9. And so there is sort of this, like, it's going somewhere. I don't know if it pays off, but it is all sort of on theme with them talking about food and her sort of taking an interest in that with him. Here's a little side note that's funny. So you got these two bodybuilders back here, right? You got Jay and Ronnie. So Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman are two Mr. Olympias who look like those two dudes. Little fun fact there.
That's funny.
But my favorite moment with Tifa in this is the end. So after you win, and Amina basically fangirls out over Tifa and wants her to be her coach, right? And she gets ready to like dismiss it and be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And then she like thinks better of it and says thank you instead.
Yeah.
It's like showing progress, right? And another thing I think is interesting, and this may be deliberate or not. So here, Tifa becomes the coach of somebody else. And in Remake, Tifa's referring to Cloud as coach when they're having their little after battle dialogues and stuff like that. And so she's sort of been elevated to this position as somebody who is worthy of looking up to, even though she may not really see that in herself. So that's about all I got on that one.
I think it's cool that you say that she got elevated that position because, I think actually weirdly enough, this quest does a lot for her character development and how she approaches social situations in general. Like you said, at first she didn't know how to process the compliment, but she just sort of hits the brakes, accepts it. Mm-hmm. And to build on that, before when you first meet Amina, coming off the heels of chapter 6 with the Jenny quest, where we got a very interesting piece of dialogue from Tifa where Jenny's like kind of just being rude and cruel almost to her, like knocking her down. And Aerith gets defensive, and what does Tifa say? She's like, "Nah, I'm used to this." So the implication is that Tifa's used to women putting her down, is kind of which is sad to think about. But what does she have here? The
women
exact
who
opposite.
Look up to her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She walks into this gym, and Amina goes, "Oh, me, like you're an inspiration. All these other women, like we all want to be like you." Mm-hmm. And then she, she becomes Amina's coach. She's like, and by the end, like if you're kind of looking at this quest coming off of chapter 6, and if you did that quest during chapter 6, you're seeing Tifa on both ends of the spectrum, but it's cool because it's elevated by her growth as a character. You're seeing the effects of what it's like when she's being disrespected and hated on, and what happens when she's supported and elevated and appreciated. So I thought that was cool for her.
Lord Fenton's note here said this is the most evil minigame. I just saw it pop up.
Agree.
Are you bringing the tier list up this video? Like,
we're gonna bring it up. We're gonna bring it up very. This is the last one, so we could probably talk about it. But so is there anything else to say on the side quest? Because I think we've covered all the side quests. Now we're gonna get into the final bits of the story, which is some of the best parts of this chapter. And then we got to get into just some quickly go through our awards and accolades and stuff like that. But let's jump right into that. Let's jump into that part. So let's get to some of the best parts of this chapter, and that
My notebook fell apart.
My notebook. Where is Is he not going to do that? Is he? I don't think this video he gets on the. No, it doesn't. Dang it! I have to find a different video.
What are you looking for exactly?
The ending of this chapter. It looks like Source Spy kind of like doesn't go through with the final part where you have.
We didn't even technically talk about the last thing.
Yeah, the best. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Like some of the best parts of the game. So like some of the best parts. All right, so before we do that, let's rank those mini games real quick. All right, everything looks a little wonky right now, but just bear with me. There we go. That's better. There we go. Right now, I have it over here. I took it off of the tier maker because they don't have all of the mini games. So here we go. That's
okay. I think it's the way that the screen said because I don't see
the way that's and then four condor. So the tiers are at the top. Mini games. So. What mini games got introduced? We brought in the new Pirates Brigade. It's a different one this time around. What do you guys think of that one?
$2,000. I like it.
I like it better than the other one. Honestly, I like the challenge and it was a good time.
All right, so that going under the $2,000, and we'll put those in there. So this one's this is actually Pirates Revenge Ghost Ship.
Wherever you're writing it, I can't see.
You can't see it? It says Pirates Revenge. I'll figure this out. I'm going to get this into a tier maker. And then we have...
this is just the skeleton.
This is the skeleton right now.
I love saying we'll have it by next week.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
That's how it is. All right, Red 13's free-for-all thing. Or time trial. Red 13 Run Wild time trial.
I like this one too. I like this one a lot. I
played it more times than I want to admit.
Yeah, I don't want to blow $2,000. I don't know if it's first class.
I go A. Oh wow!
But
You're going
to me, I really like. I like time
It's
trials
fun.
in general. So again, I don't want to bloat $2,000.
That's
but
all right. We're putting Red 13.
Yeah,
Time
I mean,
trial,
honestly,
or
yeah. I think it goes in there.
I
Run
think it's
Wild
a $2,000.
time trial. I'm gonna put it down here at the $2,000. So there we go. And then the next thing was
Our first not interested.
yeah. What was that? I can't remember what that was last week, but we're going to go for seashells. Is that what that is?
Oh wait, is seashells? Is that a?
It's an activity. I don't know.
I don't know if I count digging seashells as a.
That's why it's not interested.
Yeah, that's why we're not interested.
Okay.
How about the minecart ride?
I got a solid B.
B on that one.
It's not interested. I don't know if it's an A.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's one of those things where it's fun when you play it. Like it's fun in the chapter. I would never.
I think
revisit the chapter to
it's
play.
higher than the other B's, but it's
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
fine.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Now
Whoa,
wait.
whoa, whoa.
No. I think it's an A because look at Chocobo wrangling, Hustle Day Chocobo.
Yeah,
and-
those don't belong in the same spot.
Yeah, no,
probably needs to
minecart's
be
significantly more fun than those,
low-
but it's just
low A.
it's no. Yeah, put it in A.
Okay,
I
okay.
think minecart's in A.
He said
'Cause
they don't belong
like,
there. Oops.
Dude, bro, cut out the whole damn background.
All right,
Lord.
and I think that kind of does it for our mini games, right?
No, we got the gym
Shut up.
bros.
Oh,
The
Gym
crunchy.
Bros. Oh, what am I thinking? What am I
Not
thinking?
interested.
First
I do
class.
not- I
First
do
class.
not-
It depends on what costume Tifa's wearing, right? Whether it's first class or not interested.
All right. While you make a compelling point, I'll settle on B.
Oh,
I think we need a D category for other reasons.
God.
Sorry, I had to slip a dad joke or two.
All right,
All right, where do
listen.
you guys put it? Because I think B. I mean, it might not be not interested level, but it's definitely not
I kinda-
one of the better ones.
You know, I could give it a low A.
Really?
Like I would rather do
Yeah.
that than Chocobo wrangling. To be honest with you,
I don't mind. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't mind it being an
Chocobo
A.
wrangling's more of a chore.
What-
I can understand that.
What do you call that? The crunch off.
crunch off.
Crunch off. I'm gonna go with low
Crunchy.
A.
Crunchy crunching. I don't know.
Crunch off.
Crunch off.
All right, and then that's it for the mini games, correct?
I mean, you got seashells. What about finding the boiler part? Or
That's
the
right.
transmuted- the boiler transmuted.
Ito.
Boiler.
Boiler.
Oh god. All right, y'all.
Gotta get that boiler valve.
The reason why I brought that up is so that way I could get the footage ready. It's ready. So let's go over here and now let's talk about the end of this chapter.
Hey Dan,
Yeah.
Dan, while we're talking about the end of this chapter, you gotta fix my boys on the Stampede so Stamp can be mentioned again. Did you add? There was one name that needs to be added.
I will pitch it over to you, and then I'm gonna pitch you like a question or like some analysis, and
Yeah,
while
okay,
you're
perfect.
doing your
I
analysis,
sent
I'll
you
do
the
it.
guy's name for
Okay.
our lieutenant for that. So,
Lieutenant
yeah,
Dad.
Lieutenant Dad, I want the Chocobo Cavalry.
All right, so
Please.
this one is this is good because probably the best part of the chapter. Now, Barrett finally opens up and tells his story here when he says took away their future and their hope. He looks at the not actually gold saucer beyond the mountains, but he's looking at this towering amusement park that is a reminder of Barrett's mistake and his shame. I like the framing of this picture here, and it's an amusement park, which is even more insult to injury here. Like, this is Shinra literally dancing on the graves of those who died. So this Shinra doesn't care. We're gonna put an amusement park up. So I just thought that was like when he says it, he looks up. He says, "I took away their future and their hope." So then we get a flashback from 6 years earlier. Scarlet is here, proposing a Mako reactor be built in the Mount Corell. Dine is the only one who is opposed. And hey, we heard Dine's name earlier in this chapter. We're building to it. Now we finally get to see Dine. Now, Barrett does a lot of the talking here, trying to convince Dine that there's no future in coal. And Scarlet ensures them that the town will get a portion of the profits and will even be enriched. The mayor looks to Barrett when they ask, well, shall we put it to a vote? The mayor looks at Barrett almost for like confirmation. So it's clear that Barrett is highly respected. And like even the mayor is kind of looking for the approval from Barrett. Like, good, all right, let's do it. So I thought that was interesting to kind of like this whole scene. This was probably up for my best rebirth. I like this recreation of this conversation. The acting fantastic here. Performances were on point. Do you guys have any analysis for this part? Because I'm going to jump into the next part where we go 2 years later as the story continues.
Not really an analysis on this part, but the music of this part. It's not in the official soundtrack, but I'm pretty sure that this is an acoustic cover of End of the World, which is on the soundtrack. If you guys remember that song. It's an acoustic cover. It's a really pretty song. I just wanted to throw that out there because that was almost my best music, but I don't think it's on the official soundtrack. Yeah, like the acoustic, because it was one of those things where the song was pretty, but when I was actually listening to it, like I took a second to listen, and I'm like, oh, that's End of the World, which we hear a lot during the Zack, bring it back to Zack. We hear that.
We're going back to Zack.
We're going back to Zack. All right, rewind the video. No, but we hear that a lot in his sections of the story, so I just thought that that was cool. Not that it's connected to Zack. It's just,
Mr. Bigglesworth in chat coming in with Barrett did nothing wrong. The whole town was in favor of it. Why does everyone blame Barrett solely? Make it make sense. A Day to Remember, great album. Why is it Barrett's fault? Literally a plot hole. Now I won't say it's a plot hole, but I think people in a time of whatever, in harsh times, people looked to place the blame on somebody. Scapegoat.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And this is just...
He's clearly a community leader in this situation. Yeah. I mean, if the mayor's looking to him, he's a community leader, so who are you going to blame?
It's going to be... You got to put the blame on somebody, and sometimes...
It's not right, but it is.
It's not that it's his fault. It's not like he actually did what was wrong here.
Yeah.
The problem is that he was the most vocally in favor of it. So when the townspeople look to their
leaders,
peers, and their leaders, and they see somebody who was one of them, so adamantly in favor of something that led to their ultimate destruction, that's going to leave a stain. And even though we, as the audience, like in a third-party objective, like a viewer, go, hey, they're way too hard on him in their position. This is like, seeing somebody who you look up to and care about just literally sign a death wish almost. Like it just...
Yeah, I mean, even still, I still think it's just human nature, like the bad side of human nature, to just like point the finger, place the blame on somebody else so you don't have to carry that burden. I just feel like that is what we're seeing here with the town. Like they have to put this on somebody. I mean, you can see that they're not happy. They're drinking. They're like, all this whole town is going through, like, they're going through some stuff, but they're going to put that blame on somebody else because I think that's what we're seeing here. And then, like Mr. Bigglesworth says, and they didn't show that in the flashback. No one else in the town was arguing with Barrett other than Dine. Literally, it was unanimous except for Dine, right?
Yeah, but he was, again, I think, the most vocal. So
and Barrett was definitely vocal. Yep.
It's just, even if you're... Oh, sorry, Wiley, go.
No, that's all good. I was just gonna say you can layer this in with that. Even Barrett feels he's super responsible. I mean, Barrett, of everybody, Barrett left. Like he didn't stay,
and he left.
That's another thing too.
So you can interpret layers to this that maybe aren't being shown, but I do think it's really just kind of as simple as what we're seeing here, you know?
Yep.
I feel like there's a lot of ways you could take that too. I mean, you know, sure, you're right in that, Mr. Bigglesworth, that it was almost seemingly unanimous except for Dine here. And, you know, it doesn't matter if everybody was in agreement. Barrett was the most in agreement in the eyes of the public here. So the fact of the matter is that, you know, history has this funny way of, we look at it differently as more time goes by. And I think after he skips town, after everything goes wrong, I think the way you view this is, you know, he was pushing for something that led to us failing. And where did he go? He left. You know, like that's why they call it like a hero's welcome, because their hero, the guy who was supposed to be looking out for their best interest. And again, it's not like he was solely responsible for it. They all agree for the most part. I mean, and I'm not even saying that anybody's thinking this either, but the fact also is that he takes Dine's daughter, granted to give her a better life and get her out of there, but I'm sure some people might have thoughts on that if they know about that. It's like, okay, yeah, the one guy who's against, like, I feel like if you're combining all these layers to it, it doesn't matter if everybody was in agreement with Barrett. The problem is that Barrett was so adamantly for it, and then when everything went to hell in a handbasket, he left. And I think so Mr. Bigglesworth, I don't think you're wrong. Like I think that's a great observation. It's a fair criticism.
It's fair criticism.
Yeah, I mean, more emphasis definitely could have been put on this for sure.
Exactly. And I like how he says, I think they need to flesh it out. Well, we're coming back in part 3, right? Well, we're hoping we come back, and maybe we can bury the hatchet. Maybe we can make amends. Maybe they can take some accountability for this as well, like in part 3. Centurion, I'm surprised the stream is still going. We talked about Zack some more. I'm just kidding. No, we didn't. We didn't go back to Zack. We
got to get Zack on track. That's what it is.
Zack on track. Zack on track. All right. So, 2 years later, we're gonna go over that. First of all, I do want to go back to what Scarlett said, because sometimes I just want to say that to people. You know, like when somebody's just like, when you're having a conversation with somebody and then they don't want to agree with you and you don't agree with, I just want to do what Scarlett. It seems we've reached an impasse, and any further conversation would be a waste of breath. That's what I'm going to say to this. You know, like that's what you should say to somebody. You just shut them down. You just shut them down when somebody's talking about something you don't want to talk about. You know, it'd be a waste of breath. And that's how I feel about Zack. No. I'm just kidding. Damn. All right, so
the live viewer drop off just went. Everybody just tuned in. Right, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't go anywhere. 2 years later, that makes this 4 years ago from the present day. Just let you know that. I'm just keep things in perspective. The reactor was operational. Corell rejoiced. Said it was, hey, the chapter of Title 4. Or, oh my God. We've been going on for too long. The title of Chapter 4, Dawn of a New Era. That's what he says. So that's what everybody was rejoicing. Then one day the reactor exploded. Shinra, led by Scarlett, burned down the town to craft a story that it was all just a work of a local insurgent group. Now Yuffie's hatred for Scarlett here makes me want that slap fight to take place between Yuffie and Scarlett. And I'm going to bring it up again in the next chapter where it supports that. But for this one, she just has more history with Scarlett. And it makes more sense for Yuffie to slap fight. I mean, like, not Tifa. Tifa's not going to slap. Tifa knock you out. Tifa going to knock you out, all right? But Yuffie and...
Pretty sure a slap from Tifa could probably knock you out.
I mean, either way, but Yuffie, I can totally see her getting into a slap fight. Like, I could just see that happening. Now, I want to see the slap fight between Yuffie and Scarlett. That's a change that I'd be okay with. But still, I want it the way I said. Anyways, if it's not the way I said, then with the 2D Tekken sides like fighting, that would be awesome with Tifa and Scarlett. But let's be honest, I can see Scarlett getting into a slap fight. I can see Yuffie getting into a slap fight, not Tifa. But she has this hatred. I feel like it's hers to have that rewarding payoff there. Anyways, Barrett feels guilty for putting Corell on its path that got them to where they are now, and Barrett doesn't want none of your sympathy or your pity. So Yuffie shakes it off and starts talking about how much fun they're going to have in the next episode next week.
And ironically, pisses him off more.
Yeah, he's like, wait.
I love that her trying to lighten the mood actually makes him more angry.
I didn't think you guys would just like quickly flip the switch like that, you know? Like it's like me. It's like when somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, you doing all right?" No, I mean, I'm doing. I don't know, man. I'm fine. And they're like, "Okay, cool. You want to do?" I'm like, "Man, all right." Yeah, or it's like, you know, like okay, I guess it's cool then. Anyways. That's the end of this chapter. As the ladies want to look out and see the fun that's approaching, but guess who else wants to see the fun? The child within Red 13. The child. All right. Now glad we're on the same page. Chapter ends, and that concludes chapter 7. Let's go through some awards. Unless you guys have anything to say.
Can I shout my boys out?
Shout your boys. Nope. I'm gonna send you here's some questions actually I take from the survey, and these are going to let's make them rapid fire. Let's make them rapid fire. All right, let's make them quick questions here, or quick answers. Let's see. Hey, New Shinra asks, how do you all feel about the expansion and inclusions of the black robes throughout the story, and how unnerving it is to realize that there is probably hundreds all heading north, and it all seems that Cloud is following them just instead of just Genovaroth. So you guys like the inclusion of the black robes here? Did you like that in chapter 7? You like this? Like it's definitely it's what is driving the narrative forward. I agree with that one. So not much to talk about there. Block Sheep says, what are your thoughts about how Cloud is in the same state? Oh God, wait, we have already read that one. That was the one we're about to open up a can of. Whoa! We've already.
Centurion, when you come back, it'll be 4.
We already talked about that one, Black Sheep. We're gonna pump the brakes. We're gonna go over to. Oh, you know what? I like this one because it's not. I don't know if it's a. We'll see. Nia writes into the survey. First time I've seen Nia in the survey, so thank you so much for filling out the survey. And you also, everybody watching right now, can make sure you go fill out the survey. Don't go. Let me just put that. Don't go anywhere now, but fill out that survey for Chapter 8. Nia says, while waiting for Rebirth, I kept asking myself how they were going to pull off some weird stuff from the OG, and the section with the suspended train track was one of those I was most curious about. I love the atmosphere, the aesthetic, the music of the OG, but to be honest, the level design made no sense here. The size of the reactor, the roller coaster, the distance to the Corell town, everything back then was based on abstractions, so things like that, size and distance, were not really meant to be taken seriously. In Rebirth, they had to make sense though, and holy did they bleeped it out, so I'm bleeping it out. They did a great work. I like how they bleeped it out with the classic money sign, hashtag, exclamatory caret. Perfect.
Nice.
I don't know if you looked that up, Nia, but that is exactly how it is done in remake or in the original. Anyways, now the whole map makes sense geographically. The size of the reactor is believable, and they even created a perfect blueprint for the train scene. Okay, whoa, Nia, you have to explain. They created a perfect blueprint for the train scene in part 3. And if it's not great design, I don't know what is. Referring to what I wrote in the best Rebirth, what was something weird from the OG that you were wondering how they were going to pull off in Rebirth? It could be something from this chapter, could be the whole game, or even for part 3. What is something from the OG that is weird that you're wondering how they're going to pull it off in Rebirth? This could be past, present, or future memories here for Rebirth, or even part 3. What is something from the original game that is weird that you're very interested in?
We already saw one in the previous chapter, or 2 chapters ago, chapter 5, Red 13 in the Shinra uniform is the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think they nailed that.
I'm trying to think, man. Like what? I'm trying to think enough of a point so that Daniel can add this new lieutenant, so that I can drop the code again and let my boy show up. But until then, let me see here. I'll
throw another one in. Buy you some time.
Chat, this is for you as well. Answer.
I want to see how they handle Palmer getting hit and rocket.
Yeah, actually, that's a great one. I want to know, what's about to happen
just at the end of combat's still going. Here comes the truck. Boom. Like, I don't know.
It might be kind of dark. Like, all right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He doesn't return after that, right?
But didn't they already kind of do that nod in next chapter, or in that?
They might have nodded to it, but doesn't
it's not the same.
Not the same. Not the same.
I think they put Palmer here in Rebirth just so you know who he is when that happens in part 3. Because he doesn't have much left to do.
Guys, I need to know, does Palmer die there? I've never really thought too hard on it. He doesn't show up again after, does he? We see him cartoonishly bounce away, like kind of like when he gets hit, like he gets and then just like, but I don't recall him being in this story after, so is that where Palmer kind of, kicks the bucket?
Yeah, I don't think we see him again.
Is Palmer dead? I don't know. I've never really thought too hard on it. Let's go!
It's the cavalry! Lieutenant Richard Jenkins.
All right. Normally I don't drop the code, but it kind of got thrown in weirdly in this episode. So the code's stamp. So if you happen to find it at the end of the episode, you got lucky this one. But next week it's going to be all perfect. Ain't that right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Cool. All right. Perfect. So yeah, code word stamp. Leave it in the comment. Everybody who commented it who hasn't already, you will be added to the cavalry. First person to comment it on the VOD becomes next week's lieutenant.
And we got Lieutenant Richard Jenkins this time around.
Lieutenant Richard Jenkins. Thank you, buddy. So,
so we got some from the chat here. Sephiroth's Game says, in Dirge of Cerberus, we discovered that Hojo copied himself into the virtual world just before his final battle. Will he do that in the next game too? I'm very surprised we did not see Weiss. No Weiss this time around. And they have to tie up that loose end. Like, we have to see that.
Yeah, with Nero and Sonon, why bother showing Nero take Sonon if that's not coming back around?
Oh, it's coming Nero back around, for sure.
That's a crazy thing altogether. Nero,
honestly, really wanted that to be a DLC, an intermission, but we're not getting it. I really wanted to keep all that deep ground stuff, Nero and Weiss, and separate. Yep, I really did. So, and like let Vincent handle that. But hey, we didn't get it. They're not doing it. So yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I guess Sephiroth's Game kind of enjoys Dirge of Cerberus, maybe. I don't know, but I didn't like anything that story introduced. So I'm hoping they do it well. Astro Zack says, I'm really wondering how they'll handle Emerald Weapon. Do I have a video for you? You just go watch that video I made. Yeah, it's a video I made. That's all. Centurion. Yeah, Palmer gets driven under and dies. Yeah, he just dies. Yeah, just dude,
that would be so funny. It's like, why is part 3 rated M? And it seems so unassuming up until the part where Palmer gets hit, and it's just like extremely, really, just really graphic. And then they just revert back to form. It's like, oh, why? Why'd they do that?
Lionheart has a good one here. Don Corneo in Wutai strapping Yuffie to the statue.
And Elena.
That is definitely some odd stuff that happens to the OG. Wondering how they do it in the FF7 Part 3. That's a good one. I think there'll be some over the top stuff going on there.
Wait, they didn't have this in this game because it happens near Gungaga, but Yeah, they definitely didn't have it because Reno shows up later. I would love to see you be able to drop in on Reno and Rude talking to each other about who they like.
Oh, that yeah.
Like I just think it's so funny. Just like I want to hear Rude in voice acting. Just go, Tifa.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
Forgot I still have my. Also, I gotta point out that Rude is the only person who does the nerd push but makes it look cool.
Yeah.
He's the only one who does the but makes it look cool. Maybe Ignis as like a close second, but
yeah.
But I think Rude outshines him on that.
For sure. What about
we
Sung?
rocking shades?
Yeah, we rocking the shades, man. What about Sung? He died in the OG, or at least disappeared. What will he do in the next game? So Sephiroth's game. Well, he didn't die, I guess, right? Because he comes back in Advent Children, but I get what you're saying. He doesn't really have much. Doesn't have much to say.
Well, I thought he died. Like when I played obviously I watched Advent Children right after.
Yeah.
Because I did it all back to back. When I played the original, I did think he died, which is kind of funny. He says that.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, me too. I honestly, I absolutely thought he died.
I think everybody thinks that he's supposed to die. So him being back, and then they sort of don't use him that much in Advent Children. So
they sort of kill him at the beginning of Advent Children.
Yeah. It's like, hey, let's bring him back.
He's still alive.
I didn't bring him back.
Yeah. Yep.
Bro is the unkillable man. You cannot.
I think Sung will. I think he'll definitely have a role to play. Probably with the Wutai War and all that other good stuff that they're building up to. All right, so let's see.
Oh, it's no longer glasses time. Okay.
Oh, see, we can't talk about that one until we get to the get later on in the chapter. Okay. All right, cool. There we go. I want to say a big special thank you to everybody who tuned in and watched this chapter breakdown. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you did. All right. I don't know. Like at the end of this, I think we did good. I think we did pretty good. Like I don't know.
I had a good time.
I had fun.
I had fun, and it was a loaded chapter in a weird way.
Yeah. That's why I liked it, man. It was loaded.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff to talk about there.
We did go off the rails there for a minute though with all that Zack stuff.
Well, we brought it back on Zack. Yeah,
we got Zack on track, baby.
We got Zack on track.
Zack on track.
Mm-hmm. I love it. All right, y'all. This has been fun. Be sure to fill out that Chapter 8 survey. Here it comes one more time, and I think there you go. Boom. Thanks everybody who tuned in there. So, until next time.
Zack moment was a
all
trip.
that glitters is gone. Only you guys gonna hang me?
I didn't know. I was just enamored. I was enamored by your performance. I didn't know we were supposed to. You didn't tell me I was involved.
So all that
only shooting stuff.
On second thought, no.
On second thought,
That's what next week. All that glitters, baby. All that glitters. We'll see you for next week for Chapter 8. Until then,
can't wait.
Take care now. Bye then. Thank you, Dragoon King and Excalibur.
I think did he forget the goodbye?
Thanks, guys.
Hang loose.
Hang loose.
Hang loose. Ah!